bowling, bowling, keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
Royal Pin Entertainment is the place to be. They have 3 locations serving Indianapolis where you can enjoy bowling in their modern 70 or 80 lane centers. Plus enjoy mini golf, laser tag, and arcades. Visit the Royal Cafe, stocked with a full menu of all the essentials and 2 full-service bars at each location. Royal Pin Centers are perfect for family outings, an evening hangout, or date night. Reserve your lane online at royalpin.com to skip the line. For more information, call 465-8484. That's 465-8484. Book your lane online at royalpin.com. That's ROYALPIN.com.
Royal Pin. Bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis. Your home for the 2022 NBA playoffs and the NBA Finals. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard, a pick 6 for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Oh, the chicken! Double time!
Miles Turner. Yeah.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Shout out to Chris Hagan, who was in here for me yesterday. I appreciate that. Both he and Kyle doing a fantastic job. 3 hours for the show, and certainly you guys, as you always do with Chris pulling the trigger over here, you guys dig it, and I thank you for that. All right, who had on the bingo card, is that what they say nowadays, the bingo card? I never really understood what that meant, because I used to play bingo back in the day. The town I grew up in had every 2 weeks a bingo night on a Saturday night at the Fire Barn. So I never really understood. I know what a bingo card was, and we didn't have the scrap. We had the stuff where you had the cards and you just slid over the little like door to cover it up. We didn't use like markers or anything like that you could throw away. But I guess it is in the know and the now to say if you had this on your bingo card, you're a winner. Did anybody have Darius Leonard undergoing back surgery on theirs? Some sort of surgery, some ankle surgery, but back surgery, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't. Because go back to, was it 4 days ago? What's today, the 5th or the 6th? I get lost in the shuffle. Oh, it's the 6th. So 5 days ago, Frank Reich said Darius Leonard watching practice again, ankle being very cautious, locked in mentally, and today's having back surgery. Now, back surgery, they say, and I'll be honest with you, I cannot go through. I went through. I was right here for the Manning when you know that. And when all that went down, that was during the end of the Napoleon era, and they were kind of battling against what was true and what they were going to do and what they wanted to let everybody hear. And then the whole Luck saga. I don't want to have to mess with this again. So hopefully, we always talk about transparency, and granted, that has been something that they have said they have done, and it's only going to ever happen to a degree. I've always said this. When everybody talks about how, they let us in and they give us this information and they're really transparent, they're still only going to give you what they feel they can. I mean, it's really not going above and beyond. It's just letting you in a little bit more. And in turn, probably telling you stuff you already know. And I know that's a really pessimistic way to view it, but much like how they view the information and how it comes out and what they want to try to message-wise control, it does. It leads us to speculate. Zak Keefer with a tweet less than an hour ago, update. Darius Leonard, no second surgery on the ankle, but he has been having back issues that require surgery. Operation is today. He'll miss some camp time, but the team's expectation is he's ready for the regular season. When did it become a back? We'll talk to Zach about that in the 5 o'clock hour. When did that become a back? In the past couple of days, I think it was Stephen Holder that had mentioned that this was something that cropped up here recently. And you can kind of tell Darius in social media, I think has been a little bit salty on the speculation. But listen, you're not far enough away from either Manning or Luck not to speculate around here. There's a reason why you speculate. There's always going to be a reason around here why you speculate. It's the same one where everybody suggests, what is going on around here? Why is this team so injured? You got to fire the training staff. You got to do that. Listen, they've made changes on the training staff. That has been addressed. So these are all hot button reasons as to why, I guess we'll all be together on this. Where we are and who we are regarding this team and injuries. And I don't blame you one bit. Now, one bit. So we'll be taking calls today. We'll be answering questions today. I'm sure with a great deal of speculation. Because that's just where we are. And hopefully he's going to be good. Be good for most, if not all, but most of training camp. But that certainly was a new one on everybody today. And you can take that for what it's worth. Yeah, but the back thing. And I think it was Stephen Holder that had mentioned that a little bit earlier. This is something that had recently popped up, I guess, injury-wise. This was his tweet less than 20 minutes ago. Frank Reich said very clearly that this is not an injury that originated from last season. It became an issue in recent weeks based on my understanding. And I think that was in response to, what's the view of the Colts training staff? And again, I'm not going to blame you guys. I'm not going to blame anybody. Because you've been down this path before, and for somebody to say, well, you just remain calm, all is well in the whole Kevin Bacon Animal House scene, you have become used to not doing that. And there's not 1 ounce of blame that I will place upon you for that. Frederick says it's the 7th. Is it the 7th?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh.
7th.
Oh, used a thumb. Hey, Frederick, that was my bad. He actually was... When Kyle does... You guys can see this on YouTube Live. You did it like... I just saw the 6. I didn't see the thumb. See, when I do 7, I do this. I don't do this. This looks like 6 to me. So it's the 7th. So that was 6 days ago. Thank you very much. Yeah, sometimes you do have to laugh. Sometimes you do. Kenny Moore did report. Kenny Moore was at practice today, which was mandatory. A lot of speculation leading up to, all right, what is he going to end up doing? And he ends up reporting. So there you go. He ends up being there as, I guess, from what they're saying out there, he's supposed to be there. And then that is pretty much the news. As far as the Colts news is concerned, yeah, I'm with you, though. I will give it a cautious eye until you actually see him back out there. I don't know about anybody else, and I'm not suggesting this is going to hijack a season by any stretch of the imagination, but I really was interested to see, coming off of last year when he did, and obviously he dealt with an injury. Some games weren't great, but he was by far the best player, and most of the season had been mentioned as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I really wanted to see him with this group, full bore. Now, I don't know what this means for the ankle. So is the ankle still going to be dinged, but the back's going to be better? Does the back affect the ankle? Doctor, can't you see I'm burning? These are questions we have. But I was really interested to see, because I've made note of this before with you. I like the way that this defense looks. I put a great deal of expectation on this defense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be top 5, but I put a great deal of expectation on this defense. I like what they have done with it for the most part in this offseason, and I really wanted to see how they were going to utilize even more so in turning the football over and what he did in the takeaway category a year ago with Gus Bradley and the new defense because of the work that they have up front and the work that they now have at the tail end of this defense. So I'd like to see as close to as 100% of Darius Leonard, just because you would think if he pulled that off a year ago, injured, dinged, and in a defense that wasn't any good outside of him, if he pulled that off a year ago in a defensive scheme that I guess everybody, certainly with good reason, everybody was kind of over Eberflus. You have Gus Bradley in here. A lot of thoughts about what this defense can do. How much more playmaking ability might he have if he is within what we expect to be a much better, collectively, defensive effort this year, and having a healthy player? I get you. I know. Listen, there are, and we concentrate on it around here. And you're singed a little bit. I mean, you're jaded about injuries around here. That's what they created. That's what they created. When we were all, for how many years, chasing the phantoms that was Andrew Luck's health or lack thereof. That is what is created. Now, it's great at the time. It's great at the time because you want to, as a team, the NFL has done this forever, controlling the message. But when that thing turns around and bites you in the capacity, you know, I mentioned hijacking a season. How about hijacking an era? And these are, again, why you have these thoughts. These are, again, why my Twitter feed is full of, well, this reeks of luck, and this smells like luck, and this is kind of like luck, and remember what happened with Manning. I don't blame you for dropping any of that stuff in, because you've been burnt before. You have been burnt. So here's hoping. See, I'm going to draw a fine line between speaking the absolute truth, and this is because I feel that I know you a great deal, just like you know me a great deal. But speaking of the truth on why you, me, us, why we feel this way regarding injuries to significant players that you get sideswiped about. Like Paris Campbell, nothing ever sideswipes you about Paris Campbell. You're all right, injury. But you're going ankle, sitting out. He's still locked in. And then all of a sudden, you get hit with he's having back surgery. And there is this too. It is always a back surgery with an athlete. And calling these guys athletes is probably understating it a great deal. Like incredible athletes. Like at times we'll call one another, right? Yeah, are you athletic? Sure, yeah. I'm about as athletic as this styrofoam cup sitting next to me right now. Now, these guys are super incredible athletic, and then when somebody goes cutting on your back, again, you look at that with a bit of a question, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So hopefully, again, everything has been learned from some of the worst experiences of all time around here. Because I will admit, when this thing first popped up, the first thought was, oh, yeah, okay. So what? And training camp is going to be okay. Then when training camp starts and everybody's out at Grant Park, you're going to be looking around and wondering, when are you going to be here? Oh, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. I'm not suggesting anything like that would happen, but to say that you're still not a little bit damaged from all that, I completely understand. Because as I mentioned earlier, that hijacked an era. To a point, certainly, this organization is still searching, still hanging from that. Still kind of dangling. And wanting to know when things are going to turn around for the good. You're still chasing your tail after that position and that particular player. So, again, there's no blame. No blame. And you're going to see that a lot. You're going to read that a lot. You're going to hear that a lot. You're going to hear a lot about the training staff. You're going to hear a lot about the docs and all that. And, again, there have been more than subtle changes over the years. Training-wise, certainly. Strength and conditioning, absolutely. So we shall see. Back surgery makes me a little bit nervous. Yeah, I don't know if everybody is just buying, okay, remain calm, all is well. JMV, football is a violent sport. No one is to blame. Well, thank you very much, Howard Jones. There's no doubt it's a violent sport and no one is to blame. I'm thinking, right? You guys all with me? Am I describing most of the Colts fans' feelings out there accurately? Without going overboard and saying we're all going to, hell in a handbasket or whatever that saying is from where I'm from? And here we are. JMV, so since the team gave him $100 million in an extension, becoming the highest paid linebacker, he had an ankle injury last season and is starting off 2022 with a back injury. While what you say right there, Steve, in San Antonio is accurate, he also played at individually the highest of levels. And I know a lot of people say, well, you can tell when he was injured and when he wasn't. All I know that his body of work throughout the season was right up there with all the other, maybe not as high as Aaron Donald. I don't think anybody's suggesting that. But he played at a very, at least conversational, defensive player of the year level. And that's why you want to see him get right. You want to see him get right with this group. You want to see him get right with the new coordinator and see how all this fits. You give credit where credit is due. A year ago, this dude made play after play. Can you imagine for a moment, take away his playmaking ability defensively, what would this defense have looked like? What could you have counted on this defense doing? I mean, he was the playmaker. And then apparently did it, limping around, hobble around a lot. What I'm saying is you would love to see this guy get as close to right as possible and thrown in the mix with what they have put together defensively. It's a must. I mean, it's an absolute must. So as much as you can say, hey, he got an extension and he got paid and now he's injured, the dude played at an incredibly high level most of the time a year ago. So You have to give credit where credit is due. Can't take that away. That is the absolute truth. No, I know I'm going to get a lot of, hey, when's he going to announce his retirement? Hey, what are we going to hear? So, will Gary Brackett roll out there during camp coming up in July and say he's going to be all good and he's raring to go? And you're going to get all that. And again, as I mentioned at the top, I don't blame you. I do not blame you. It is tough. It's tough to come back from that. It's tough to find anything that is believable when most anybody right now, certainly about anything injury-wise pertaining to this team and probably a lot of teams, but certainly the one that you have a true focus on, you're always going to be skeptical, aren't you? Always. It's not something that's going to go away in a year, in 2 years, in 4 years, in 5 years, in a decade, probably. Especially with the injury luck, no pun intended, and concerns that this team certainly has had. So we'll talk about that if you like at 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. Show us on Twitter at jmv1070. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. I'm going to retweet that right here. Somebody turned up the heat in here. Why is it so hot in here? I'm going to start. It's getting hot in here. No? It's not hot. Is that Nelly? Yeah. Hot in here. Take off all your clothes. Yeah. Yeah. I would not look at the extension and the money. I wouldn't look at that with the ankle and the back. I would look at the ankle as a dude that was trying to play through it. I would look at his response to the ankle, especially recently via social media, as a dude that in general is just salty in social media and reads everything. It's just that can't be good. It's like, and I tell my mom all the time, right? I'm always trying, it's like a role reversal. I'm trying to give my mom advice. You know how she takes my advice? Exactly. She goes, whatever, you don't know anything, you're still 15. But the best advice that Darius Leonard, I think, and maybe he does need this to build that incredible motivational chip on his shoulder, but I think that when you constantly read crap or you're involved with crap via the internet, you become toxic. It becomes, at least that's me. Like, I have a threshold of which I want to deal with it, and I go, all right, I'm done with all this crap. Because you carry that around with you. And for him, he'll get to go out there when healthy. He'll get to go out there and lay some people out. But with us, we just walk around and we act like jackasses. And we act like jackasses to people we have never met. At a stoplight, behind on the road, whatever. So I think there comes a point where you look at it as motivation. But I think there is a point when it becomes toxic. I've talked about this. Like, my mom sits back and watches news, nothing but news. And it's great to be informed. Everybody be informed. You guys can all be informed for me. But I think there comes a point in time when you hear nonstop yelling back and forth about this and that where it becomes toxic. I'm very careful in doing that with this show. It's funny, I've heard this before. Oh, you're so negative. I can't believe you're so negative about this. They said he's going to be okay, and he's going to be back. He's not going to miss all of training camp. That's easy for you to say. The problem is you don't sit here and you haven't been through having to talk with folks in the past, not just once, but twice. So it's different. And it's different from those that are calling in. It's different from those that are releasing all this. Well, this is what I think, conspiracy theories, whatever, however you want to view it, however you want to describe it. You have been down this path before, and I don't know, are you somewhere between untrustworthy and skeptical? Because you've lived it. But all that stuff can be toxic. You know, I see Darius Leonard is oftentimes going back and forth, and, you know, if that's what motivates you to be better, if that is a tool in which you use, then who am I to argue? I just think at some point you got to disengage because that stuff will get you. I can't do it. I wouldn't want to put up. I mean, I have a low threshold of it. Like the jackassery, and this is just me in general. I can't deal with jackassery to a very high level because I just disconnect and there's no relationship. There's nothing. And I've said this before. I've done it to people close in my life. And that's probably a little toxic in its own right. But I just the negativity just wears me out at times. And I know that's what's supposed to like float the boat, I guess, of any kind of talk shows is the negativity. People say all the time, oh, you're just stirring the pot. No, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you how people feel. And I feel the same. I feel the same until you see. And when you think about the Colts in terms of seeing is believing, you're still skeptical until you see this team play. Again, I said this after that Jacksonville game. There is no way to redo. You don't have a do-over in how people feel about this product until they see it for themselves again. And he's going to have to be a part of that. This is like one of those camp stories that pop up. And then you look back on it. This is your hope. Then you look back on it and you go, man, I waste all that time. I wasted 3 hours on Deion Kane. I wasted 3 hours on that. Now, you hope this is what it's like. Because if it's anything more, that will have a direct effect on this team and his defense. And you don't want that. So you hope a lot of this skepticism that's going to float around and will be prominent until, again, you see him play coming up later on this summer. You actually see him out there participating, not standing around and having other people say, yeah, he's going to be okay. He's rip-roaring to go. He's mentally locked in. Now you're going to have to see it with your own eyes. And we don't blame you. Quick break and we shall return. We can hit some NBA postseason if you want to do that too. Some MLB. Man, golf is making some significant changes. So are we mad at these guys because they're going after the money? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Are we?
I think it's just the circumstances of where that money is coming from and how that may affect play over here for tournaments and kind of watering down the competition level.
So what would if I looked in a mirror and I wonder what I would do? What would I do?
It's a lot of money, but man, where that money is coming from, you might not like the origin of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would like to sit here and tell you that I would do the right thing. I will say this, though. I've explained this to you over and over again. I absolutely love what I do. And doing this was my dream. You'll get some people that are cool with you being here and know that you've worked hard to get here. And then others that will say, well, if you're any good, you would be on a national stage. My dream was not to be on a national stage. I've told you this before. It's much harder doing this job 3 days, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Much more difficult. Nationally, they just roll everything out. You think Mike Greenberg comes up with all those great ideas, quote unquote, originally? We got a battery of producers. I mean, Kyle and I talk over stuff before the show, and that's about it. And we talk over stuff that we feel will be meaningful to you. We just can't go out there and say Dallas Cowboys or LeBron James. It is much different. It is more difficult. But not only do we get to speak to you and with you on a daily basis, but I also get to go out and see you as well, which is even better. I think I dig going out and, not talking to somebody about the show or talking to somebody about the Colts or this and that. When you can just disappear behind that curtain after 3 hours, that would suck. I do. I think so. That's just me. But again, you can also blame me for being a lifelong lover of local radio especially. Love it. Always have and always will. So there's some thoughts right there. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the golf thing. We'll talk to Greg about that. I think Greg's been out at Crooked Stick today with a tournament. Greg Rakestraw is going to join us. We've got Jay Query coming up at the top of the hour and Zak Keefer from The Athletic. More on the back surgery situation of Darius Leonard. When you think of back surgeries, you automatically think of somebody that's about 60, 65 years old. Oh, yeah, my age. I just rub a little BioFreeze on it and roll. I bathe in BioFreeze. I'm to a point now where BioFreeze doesn't even do anything. It's just like for me. And I sniff it. I sniff BioFreeze. It like clears my nasal passages. I rub it and sniff it. So we got Greg, we've got Zach, we've got Jake all coming up. All right, 239-1070. Email address to JMV at 1070thefan.com. Is this on me right now, by the way? Firmly on me? Hello, everybody. YouTube Live, Inside the Lounge, Facebook Live as well. Big show for you today and a lot of conversation in which you guys can work in at 239-1070. That's next.
What will put you and your love on Cloud 9 this June? It's Diamonds Direct's most amazing offer this year. Right now, for a limited time on any purchase, get the best price, pay nothing down, and get 5 years zero-interest financing. If you've been swooning over that $5,000 designer ring, right now it's only $85 a month. $3,000 diamond studs, just $50 a month, and they're yours. Don't miss this special limited-time financing event exclusively at Diamonds Direct. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Hubler has it, savings. Hubler has it, choices.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
This June at Big Red Liquors, it's ice cold beer, hot prices, and even hotter prizes. It's the big giveaway. And this month, Big Red Liquors is giving away 10 Yeti Roadie coolers. Stop by any Big Red Liquors to enter to win. It's free. Must be 21 to enter. No purchase necessary.
Let's go to Vegas, Colts fans, with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Private air charter and a direct flight with a 2-night weekend travel package at Caesars Palace. It's Vegas, baby. Get your spot now. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Buy 4 Ultimate Washes and get 2 free is back at Crew Car Wash. Wash books make great gifts for Dad this Father's Day. Available online and all Crew Car Wash locations.
Everybody needs a man cave.
Ours just happens to be a little bigger than most.
All right. Let's not go there. Let's just invite them to our place.
We're getting together for a night in the fan cave, brought to you by Forum Credit Union on June 23rd. We'll chat about sports, tell lies, and talk smack.
We'll start the evening down in the Larceny Lounge with munchies, beer, and plenty of Larceny and Evan Williams bourbon.
This is going to be a heck of a party and a show rolled into one.
Tickets are on sale now at 1075thefan.com.
The Ride with JMV.
I got nowhere else to go.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Greg in just a second, top of the hour with Jake. Zach. Greg, Jake, and Zach sounds like a late 90s boy band. 98 degrees. Calvin chimes in. So golf is going through what professional bass fishing did 4 years ago. At the end, the competition is greater now than ever, and the more fishing to watch, the more great things. Guys that wouldn't have maybe gotten a shot are now going to get a shot. We'll ask Greg about this, who is at, I believe, a golf tournament out at Crooked Stick right now. Scott says this. Apparently, Kyle has forgotten to answer the phone again. I will give you a little insight. Scott, after the first segment, I turn it loose, and I never say, hey, we're going to open the phone lines, because they're always open. I mean, he could have picked it up and then put you on hold. But I rarely, actually, I never. I've always had this thought of going to the phones in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the show as being extremely lazy. I kind of want to lay out all my thoughts. The stories, the thoughts. As Larry Bird famously said, stuff I get. So rarely, if ever, and I mean rarely, do I take calls. Sometimes If a named guest has to go within the first 15 minutes or so, I'll do that. He might be working at the. Have you talked to him? He may be working. He was working golf, I think, earlier today. So Greg may be out. I'm wondering, because I just saw in a tweet where he's a crooked stick. I don't even know what's going on out there, but I think it's something important where ISC Network's covering it. Because he and the great Lance Ringler. Lance Ringler, anybody from Monroe County know Lance? Shout out to Edgewood High School. I think he's a big golf guy, also an official in the state of Indiana. I think he and Lance Ringler are doing something on ISC golf related, which is good. Justin writes this, hey, JMV, it's been a minute since I've listened. I walked right into, quote, I rub it, I sniff it, I love it. Keep up the great work. I'm always here for you. JMV, come to think of it, you're right. You rarely, if ever, take any calls in that first segment. Is that by design? It is. It is by design. Because I got a lot of stuff to get out there. And it's like, I'll give you a great example. It's like Calvin Fitch, he's the bass fisherman. That's what I'm doing. I'm throwing the lure out there, and I want to make sure that we cover all the bases of interest for you. And know that's what we're going to do over the course of the show. So I just thought in the first 3 to 5 minutes, if I'd say, hey, jump on here and talk. I'd never done it that way. It always has seemed lazy to me to do that. It'd be easy enough to do. I could just say, hey, 239-1070, jump on here and do my job for me. But I've just never been about that. It's just me. And certainly opinions vary when it comes to that. But, Scott, to answer your question, he was not looking you off purposely. He just knows that we just don't normally do calls in that first segment. I want to make sure Kyle is off the hook on that. Yeah, that's great. JMV, it's something like this every year with this team. We don't trust anything they say when it comes to injuries. They have the luck of Newton Monroe, Don Rickles on Andy Griffith when it comes to injury. Don Rickles, once upon a time on the Andy Griffith show. Shout out to Litzy and that particular knowledge. James writes this, can we get Jim Irsay to fire the training staff already? Seems like to be a clear pattern happening here. It's not in the line with the rest of the league. Tom Brady's playing at 45. Colts can barely keep 45 healthy players on the roster every year. They've whittled away at that, though. Definitely. J. Cole writes this, back surgery since when? I guess since yesterday. Since yesterday. Yeah. Since yesterday. Not very long ago is what we're saying here. And I'm not going to get everybody bent out of shape. The back surgery situation, I don't exactly know what it... Do I look like that today? I look terrible. Do I look this terrible? Can you guys get on the lounge via YouTube Live? I just noticed for the first time, I look terrible. I look pretty bad, don't I, right there? Do you notice that?
People have mentioned your 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
That's abnormal for you.
It is. I look terrible. I didn't notice that until just now. You ever walk through a department store, which there are about 5 remaining nowadays, and then get kind of a side-eye view of yourself? You go, hey, wait a minute. I look like that? That was just my thought. Wait, I'm out in public looking like this? What's wrong with me? Yeah, the side-eye view. Yeah, Sean Rogers said, are you growing the beard? I'm not. I got to get rid of it. It bugs me. I just didn't have time. I was going to get it today and didn't have time. Had to run out of the house. Matthew in Maine says I look fine. I appreciate that. I think I look terrible. I need a haircut and a shave. A lot of things to deal with. Make no mistake about that. Hey, JMV, we were watching Game 2 of the NBA Finals the other night as well. Was there anything that was easier to call than the way that game went down? There was nothing easier to call. That's exactly how the game should have gone down, and absolutely. What's weird about it, and I don't know if anybody else agrees with me on this, there is way, way, way too much time between games. And see, that's the sad part about it, I think. You go from 0 to 60 in a second. You know what I mean? You decelerate as quickly as we're going through games during the height of the first and obviously the semifinal round. You got multiple games every night, and I can't lie, being a basketball fan, when that ends, I get bummed out. And then you got to wait. You got to wait from Thursday to Sunday to Wednesday. Hello, Todd. It's just way too long of a wait for me. I know that they do it for advertising reasons and for number reasons, but I can't be the only one. You just find yourself sitting around going, man, when's this going to start again? Reamer says this is why that I'm on radio is because I look this bad. Let me tell you this, Reamer. There are people that are on TV right now. Maybe not exactly right now, but either have already been on or will be on later that look a hell of a lot worse than even me in the way I look right now. And I look like I slept in the trunk of somebody's 83 Oldsmobile last night. That's exactly how I look. I don't feel that way, but that's how I look. I thought, wait a minute, did somebody sleep in a trunk? There are people that look much worse than that. I promise you. Yeah, so true. No idea. I've been walking around this way all day. JMV, any thoughts on Darius Leonard being longer than Kim? That's what Frank Reich said. He should be ready, not at the beginning, but at some point during camp. And there is skepticism running rampant. Hopefully everything will be fine. I can't tell you not to be because we've been down this path. And I mean down this path majorly. Twice. Not with the same organization. With different people. But we've been down this path twice. And I don't blame you. Just you. And the most recent one left you singed. So there is no doubt. But that's what they say. And the whole back injury thing and the back surgery thing would tend to concern you at a higher level. Make no mistake about that. Brandon says this, the national media, they do not care about the Colts only when the storyline is juicy. Only when you're working with a soap opera do they care. When the whole Luck thing went down, man, they were all over it. I mean, everybody had this insight. None of them had that insight. What was it, Greenberg with the thing? None of it. Zero. And that's the only time they'll swoop in with a juicy story or two, but other than that, it's back to the Jets. I want this thing to be meaningful and important to you on a daily basis, and this is it. Tell you one thing, outside of the market, though, the Deshaun Watson thing, as that continues to grow, I'm trying not to sound juvenile here, but this thing is going to take well over a year to play out now, right? His contract in Cleveland, is that mostly guaranteed too?
That thing's fully guaranteed.
Oh, man.
100%.
Surely they would know. But how would you know? Is that something you just roll the dice on and hope everything turns out okay? That's a pretty big deal right there.
I think their only way out of it is if something happens criminally or if Roger Goodell suspends him.
Yeah.
And I think they can get out of that contract.
Yeah, we shall see. So you would think something like that informationally, before the start of camp, more than likely? Well, we got a month until we hear something a little bit more concrete, some sort of timetable. Cole says, I can smell the Aqua Velva over the internets. I don't have anything on. Nothing. I haven't squirted anything on me in a long time. I think I ran out of Polo Black, whatever that stuff is. I forget what Blake has. I used that once. Whenever you use a new cologne, it overpowers you. I mean, you could just do like a little bit of squirt on you, right? And you're just overpowered with it. So I'm just going with nature's fragrance right here. Quick break and we'll come back. If you're on hold, Aaron, I see you there. We'll get to that and more of your calls. We'll start to get to those calls on the other side. My apology. I believe Greg is actually doing for ISC Network a golf tournament right now, Crooked Stick. So we'll let him hang with that. Jake, top of the hour. Zak Keefer of The Athletic coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. This is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
He taught you how to ride a bike, to always listen to your mother, and how to behave when watching sporting events.
Holy shit, he traveled. He traveled and you know he traveled.
Now it's time to say, thanks, Dad. Take him to a night in the Fan Cave, June 22nd at the Indiana Historical Society. Eating, drinking, and talking sports with your favorite fan hosts. What better way to say thanks to dear old Dad? Tickets at 1075thefan.com.
Hey, John, for PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. As you can see right now, if you're watching on YouTube Live or Facebook Live, it works. It's your real growing hair. There is nothing fake or combed over about this. This is the real deal Holyfield right here. It is new, and it just continues to grow like crazy. If you want your real growing hair again, I'm just here to give you the options. 888-724-5129. The option of real growing hair. Talk to Darren Andrews at PAI. Have him explain everything to you. And if you want to do it, do it. Real growing hair again at your fingertips. What I mean by that is give him a call. 888-724-5129. WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Stevie Nicks is coming to Ruoff Music Center June 21st at 8 p.m. Go to 1075thefan.com/contest to enter to win tickets to attend the show.
Start a new career with a job that keeps your community safe. The Marion County Sheriff, Carrie Forrestal, is hiring detention deputies to work in the brand new Community Justice Center. You'll supervise and guard offenders, making Marion County a better place to live. Starting pay begins at around $40,000 a year with a $5,000 signing bonus. Enjoy great benefits like complete health coverage and pension plan. Start your career as a detention deputy and earn the respect of your community. Apply today at joinmcso.indy.gov.
Hey, Johnny, for Race Trash Service, great job opportunities as a driver. If you have a commercial driver's license, log on and apply today. Racetrash.com. Not only a driver, but also a non-driver. Just a great organization to be a part of. In fact, this company has been family operated since the 1960s and the absolute best at waste disposal and recycling. You've got it right there. A new career as a driver or a non-driver and the best in waste disposal and recycling. Log on right now, apply for one, and sign up for the other, and know you have the best. That's racetrash.com today.
When you're ready to trade off from ordinary to extraordinary, visit the Midwest's premier entertainment destination, Four Winds Casinos. Exceptional food, shows, shopping, and fun at Four Winds Casinos, with locations in South Bend, New Buffalo, Hartford, and Dowagiac. Visit fourwindscasinos.com and trade up from ordinary to extraordinary. Four Winds Casinos.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made, and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence, because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities, so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. or visit efewealthplanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines, built for those who built themselves.
It's the best in plumbing. JMV here for Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526. Main drain clogging issues. Yep. Let's do something about it. Go with the absolute best. That's LD Smith Plumbing, and go with the 83 or free deal, which means they come out, their techs do the expertise on that clog in your main drain that can lead to all sorts of problems. They do it for $83, and the visit is free at 317-284-9526. That's LD Smith Plumbing. All of your plumbing needs online. LDSmithPlumbing.com.
Mets, Angels, Sunday Night Baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Get him a body bag! Yeah!
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Jake, top of the hour. Zak Keefer, 5 o'clock hour. And indeed, I did, for those of you asking, go shirtless on, when was that? Sunday? Sunday at the Franklin Aquatic Center. Oh, everybody loved it. Yeah, I'm real. I am 100% real. All American dude right here. I'm like us all. That's why we get along so well. I'm like you, you're like me. And we talk about stuff that matters to us, so it all works. Oh, yeah. 100% real. Sounded like a wrestling thing right there. 100%. All right, Aaron, hang on. I'm going to get to you coming up in a second. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, though. There he is from Crooked Stick, I assume. Part of the ISC television network, doing a golf tournament with Lance Ringler. Did I read that accurately?
The pride of Ellettsville just did 5 hours and 15 minutes straight with me and did a phenomenal job.
He is very good. He's also an accomplished official, and I'm sure you knew that. He actually called... down in Bloomington maybe a month ago, we were in a tournament, and he had one of Laney's games.
Well, he said he threatened to kick you out, is what he told me.
I did. I was running the scoreboard, yeah.
No. So he couldn't kick you out. He actually, believe it or not, he had Lanesville sectional last year, John.
Wow.
And we have just determined that he will have the Carmel-Zionsville season opener, which I already know will be on ISC and my Indy TV coming up before Thanksgiving. So Lance is a good dude, and we've been very lucky to do this event each of the last 3 years. And I've had a different person in the color commentator's seat all 3 years. It was Will Haskett 2 years ago, Brent Nickerson last year, and Lance agreed to fill in for Brent. It was kind of a last-minute thing about a week ago, and he was absolutely fantastic. So it's yet another sport where we have this wealth of remarkably talented broadcasters here in the state of Indiana.
It's like Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. By the way, since we got back, Darius Leonard tweeted this: surgery went well, feeling amazing and ready to get back going. If you know me, you know I always come back way better than I was. Let's go. Man, ankle feel what? Let's go, man. Ankle feels amazing and can't wait to get back moving. Thanks for the texts and the calls. That is Darius Leonard within the last 5 minutes or so. What are you making of this back surgery thing? And you can understand, right, Greg, as I do, the skepticism that some folks might have regarding this today.
I am concerned just because this was a problem last year, and clearly he played great considering the circumstances, but he basically barely practiced all year. And so the fact that you are in June and this is a problem again is very troubling. Now, you have the surgery. You're 3 months out before the season starts. Darius wasn't going to play in preseason games anyway. He's already hit that veteran status where he's not needed to play in the games they get to do on television. So in theory, do it now and get better and be ready to go by September the 11th. So I'm glad he had surgery, but am I feeling good as a Colts fan today? No, because this was a problem a year ago.
Yeah, well, was it an ankle And then all of a sudden in the last, what Frank Reich described it as recently, turned into a back situation. So, yeah, I don't understand all of us here being around this team as we have over the years, being a little bit skeptical about everything. There's no doubt, injury-wise.
When you have a year that again, his 80% was better than most last year. But when you have a year where you're affected by injuries and you have to come back and have another surgery, that's a problem, John. That's not good.
So Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I do want to get away from this for a moment and ask you about golf and what is going on within the sport of golf and how is this going to change how we know it to be presently?
The answer is I don't know, because my question would be the sticking power of that tour, because that is a ridiculous amount of money that they are throwing out. In one sense, you could say it helps it because you and I are talking about a random golf event well before the U.S. Open. And I don't think that the four majors will in any way ban the players that are playing in this event. If one of them was going to do it, it would be the PGA Championship. But people forget that is the PGA Tour and the PGA of America are two separate things. The PGA Championship is run by the PGA of America, not by the PGA Tour. And so are there times when we'll talk about non-major events in golf? Yes, but I don't think any of these LIV tour events are going to affect it. So it's crazy. There's never been an event as something that's really kind of threatened the PGA Tour. I'm not sure if this is going to. The amount of money they are throwing at players to play in this event is absolutely stupefying. And so what sort of effect that has going forward, I don't know. But in terms of the casual golf fan, and by casual I mean you pay attention 4 weekends a year plus the Ryder Cup, do I think it affects that level of golf fan? No, John, I don't think that's going to have an effect on them.
All right. Well, it's curious. Would you, being in their position, would you have made that jump for the silly money that's being offered to them?
If I think I'm towards the end of my PGA career, yes. If I'm in my mid to late 40s and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play for a few more years, I'm going to go play on the senior tour, but I'll never see that level of money again, I'd think about it. If I'm the Dustin Johnson one is the one that I go, because he's nowhere near done being a factor at major championships, nowhere near done being a factor when it comes to winning on the PGA Tour. And the fact that he threatens his PGA Tour status by playing in that event, that's the one that really caught me by surprise.
How's this, and this is another Ted Bishop question I should probably ask sometime too, how's this going to affect the Ryder Cup?
As far as points, it's a good question. Usually it's the top 8 that qualify, and I don't think that event will count towards Ryder Cup standings. There are 4, captain's picks you can make. Would those guys potentially be blackballed from playing on the Ryder Cup team? It's possible, but at the same time, I don't think you're going to hurt your chance of winning the Ryder Cup just to prove a point. And so, again, that's one of those things that we are so new into this that the honest answer is, John, I have no earthly idea.
Go ahead, Kyle.
So I was listening to the Dustin Johnson press conference earlier, and he said he resigned his PGA Tour membership card, and with that means he is disqualified from being part of the Ryder Cup.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't know why you would do that. He's going to get a lot of money out of this. He already has a lot of money, and the place that he was at, was making him a lot of money. I just don't see why that decision was made from his standpoint, being a guy in his mid-30s that can keep winning golf tournaments for a long time to come.
He's Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. If you see Ringler again, tell him we said hello.
Oh, Ringler got the talent thing figured out. He's already out the door. He's heading back to Southern New Orleans.
You know who the best golfer around is his wife.
Seriously?
Yeah. No doubt.
Well, I don't know if Lance can play it. He can sure talk it.
He can talk. He can talk it, but I bet he can't play it as well as Missy can. There's no doubt. So, you got it. All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Be good.
Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Aaron, I'll get you before we get to Jay Query from the morning show, who's going to join us coming up next.
School is in session.
Coach Jeff Brown, as you're in the middle of this summer, what do you see out of your players thus far?
For us, I'll just be blunt. It's about getting everybody healthy. In order for us to win at a high level, we're going to need everybody healthy and ready to go. So we're very cautious and careful how we do it. We understand that while coaching is important, the players on the field are more important, and we've got to get these guys healthy and ready to go for game one.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, JMV here for the Aurora Sleep Clinic. Oh, yeah, a couple of former Hoosier basketballers, Brian Evans, Dr. Steve Green, approached me because I talked about on this show a number of times how snoring had really affected my bed rest and taken it away, and I wasn't feeling right. Just was not feeling good. So what did they do? They said, we got a mouthpiece. It's simple. It's affordable. We'll set you up with that, see if it works, and it will stop your snoring. You know what? I utilized it, and it did. I get better bed rest now, the best I've had forever, thanks to the Aurora Sleep Clinic, and you will too. StopYourSnoreNow.com to get that private consultation today. Stop that snoring for you or somebody in your life that suffers from it. StopYourSnoreNow.com.
Mortgage interest rates have started to drop, but you need to get locked in today. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com, home of the 10-day closing guarantee. NMLS number 1326241.
Indianapolis. At Geico, our employees' careers matter to us.
An inclusive office matters to me.
We hear you, Kelly. Geico has employee resource groups that bring people from all communities together because diversity matters. Your hopes and dreams matter. Even giving you a little space, your lucky bobblehead matters.
Want to work at Geico, Randy? Oh, he says yes.
When it comes to your career, what matters to you matters to Geico. We're now hiring claims, sales, and customer service agents. Apply today at careers.geico.com/Indianapolis, and let's get growing.
Hey, John here for Love Heating and Air. In fact, I'm getting that late spring service. Late spring service I've talked about with the cooling system, $95 off. You'll get it too. Just mention my name, get $95 off. The spring service like I'm getting coming up on Friday for the absolute best, Love Heating and Air. I had some concerns about the cooling unit moving forward. I haven't had anything addressed in a while. I want to make sure everything is good as we get to the warmer, consistently warmer temperatures coming up this summer. And you can get $95 off your late spring service right now with my friends at Love Heating and Air. Give them a call, 317-754-0754. Just ask for the deal I'm getting right now, or the deal that I'm giving you for $95 off that spring service, 317-754-0754. Online, love-hvac.com today.
My name is Megan Davis, and I am the Director of Training and Communications here at the Humane Society for Hamilton County. We nominated Trudy because she truly embodies our mission and message of whatever it takes.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
I think what the most important thing to me is when we get dogs in that are so scared, I just love to take these dogs under my wing. I need my vehicle to be in top shape because I'm driving here 6 days a week.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
If you know a volunteer who impacts your community, nominate them today to receive a year's worth of free vehicle maintenance. Just click the Do More tab at jiffylubeindiana.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Wednesday on Kevin and Query, did Kenny Moore show up to minicamp? We'll recap day one of the Colts Mandatory session and continue to look ahead to the NBA draft. Join us, 7 a.m.
The Ride with JMV.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, talent, and I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Thank you very much, sir.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Hey, big story today is Darius Leonard back surgery. He says it went well and he feels great. Others are a little bit more, much like you and me and Greg Rakestraw, who just joined us, a little bit more skeptical about it, including Pat McAfee, who tweeted Darius Leonard having back surgery is, in capital letters, not good news, to which Darius Leonard responds, as Darius Leonard does, It's great news, honestly, bro. Give me a call, and I'll give you the info on it. I think the only way, right, that if it's like some kind of something removed, like back surgery, back surgery for a high-level athlete, unless it's just something being removed off the surface, I mean, there's reason to wonder.
Did Draymond Green have back surgery in the middle of the year? He missed quite a bit of the year with some sort of back injury. I don't know if he had surgery on it, but usually it's terrible news, right?
High-level athlete, back surgery. Hopefully he's right about that. And that is what Darius does is sees that stuff in social media and goes at it. I'm telling you, at some point, though, I know that it's motivation and look where he is, but at some point you probably just ought to back away from it and then show everybody on the field when you're back there. But that's not how he chooses to do stuff, and who am I to say with his level of success that that's the wrong thing to do? But I think at some point it does become a little bit toxic for you. Because you end up not at everybody, but you just can't get it out of your head. Aaron at 239-1070 before Jake Query joins us. Aaron, go ahead.
What's going on, JMV, man? I love the show so much, man.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
That's what's up, man. So first off, man, I'm just trying to say, at 26 years old, how can an ankle injury go to a back injury, and we expect him to still be able to produce for this football team?
Yeah. And again, back surgery, high-level athlete, normally it doesn't seem like that mixes well, and then you have a great deal to be skeptical about in the past, so I understand it all.
Exactly, and I know he's done a lot for this team. I love him as a person. But, if you had a back injury at 26 years old, I feel like there's going to be something wrong with you. I think we should move on from him. For one, he's too skinny. I think we should move on. He can't really stop the run. He's good in the pass game. But other than that, what's he got to offer?
Well, and thank you, Aaron, for the call. He was one of the best individual defensive players, even on that bum ankle last year. So, I don't know if I'd go as far as that, Aaron. See, I hope he was listening to that because then he may call in. Know what I mean? Go ahead and tweet at him. Hey, Aaron says they should trade you. Would you like to respond?
You could say arguably he had the best year of his career last year.
On a bum ankle.
On a bum ankle.
That's why I'm looking at him and thinking, wow, you bring in Gus Bradley. Ngakoue, by the way, was out at the mandatory minicamp today, so Ngakoue was a part of it. You bring him in. Stephon Gilmore you bring in. I like what they have done, not just with those two guys, but especially with Ngakoue. I like what they've done with the defense. I like Gus Bradley. And with a healthy Darius Leonard, considering how he played a year ago with a defense that without what he had to offer in the takeaway category would have been awful. It would have been awful. I do want to see that. How much dead cap space would the Colts have to absorb to do something like that? Do I even want to know? Is that Jake ready? Yeah. Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline for the morning show. Kevin and Query, weekday morning, 7 until 10 a.m. It is Jake Query. Aaron, who sounds like a really good dude, he gave me props, so he's, in my book, a really good dude, was an advocate of trading Darius Leonard. I was trying to figure out exactly how much dead cap space the Colts would have to eat with that in mind. How many millions of dollars in dead cap space would they have to endure?
34.9.
I think that's in the ballpark right there, isn't it?
Yeah, 34 million.
34.9?
Right. I think that's right. I think it's.
I think you're right. No, I think it's in the 30s for sure. So yeah. So that's crazy. How are you today?
Well, Here's what's funny to me. Frank Reich comes out. I don't know what time that was today. I mean, I was hanging out with you an hour and a half or 2 hours ago, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the building shooting the bull and listening to old movie clips. And then obviously, I mean, we knew that, I knew that Kevin was out of the complex today. And then I see that Frank Reich says, hey, Darius Leonard, his ankle I think is going to be okay, but now he's got a back issue that needs surgery, okay? And then 15 minutes ago, Darius Leonard tweets like, yep, surgery's good, feeling great. Said, what? I mean, I know. Did he go to Jiffy Lube? Like, what did we do here? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know the extent of said injury. I'm not a doctor. It could be that he simply had like a pinched nerve or needed like a bulging disc treat. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea and it's quite possible that he was in surgery and Reich came out and said that. I just found it kind of like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, and the other thing too, that is a natural question that I think a lot of people are going to ask, I assume, is, okay, I realize that sometimes these things linger or these things finally come to a head where you've got to make a decision, you got to do something about it, et cetera, et cetera. But then I look at it and they go, well, it's coincidental though. Like, so he had the procedure the day that they had to arrive for. I mean, was like, did he just show up for the first mandatory day? It was like, by the way, I've got this nagging pain. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just hop you in the car and head you over for surgery. I just think, I'm not saying there's funny business going on with it, but it does seem, I understand why people would be a bit miffed at the timing of all of it.
Well, it's the timing. It's the fact that you've got a fan base and those that cover this team that have dealt with stuff like this before. So, regardless of right or wrong, you're going to be singed because of that. And then, as I mentioned, anytime you talk about back surgery with an athlete, especially a high-level athlete like that, you get majorly concerned until somebody puts out that concern fire with, what you deem to be, as he has tweeted, Darius Leonard has, I should say, a reasonable, understanding situation where it's not that big of a deal until you hear that. That's, and actually, I'll even go further, Jake, until you actually see him play again. And that's with all these guys. I mean, the way that season ended, I said that from the ending of the Jacksonville game. Nobody is going to believe anything whatsoever until you see this group play again. And then this just kind of adds to it.
Yeah, and I think also there is, I mean, listen, obviously myself and 99.9% of people listening to my voice right now will never be in the physical conditioning or shape that a Darius Leonard or any National Football League player is in, regardless of position. However, I do think that, and I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. I've not even played one on TV. I've not even taken the Sally Struthers classes. But I do think that there is something to be said for when you have an injury. And I don't know whether or not this back injury is the byproduct of this, but when you have something like he had with the ankle, you do get compensatory injuries that come because of the fact that you were moving your body in a different way than normal without even realizing it. You just have a natural tendency to now all of a sudden you're putting more weight on a different part of your body, or your gait changes. I mean, there are so many different things that can go into. I mean, Greg Oden is a prime example. I mean, as I understand it, Greg Oden's knee problems began in the NBA because he had one leg that was like, 1/9 of an inch shorter than the other or something along those lines, but his body had learned how to deal with it, and his movement and his fluidity was such that they knew how to move it. And then when they put an insert in him to balance him, it threw his body off kilter, and it began to compensate to a different area, which caused problems in terms of his ligaments, etc. I have no idea if that's the case with Darius Leonard, but it wouldn't surprise me if he had an ankle he was playing through that he compromised the stability of another part of his body. But again, I'm not a doctor. That's strictly reading tea leaves. But either way, I certainly hope, John, as I know that the city of Indianapolis is with me here, but I certainly hope This is not one of those things now that we're chasing forever. And we're not in week 9 going, well, is he really 100%? I don't know. I mean, my God, for Marvin Harrison went a half a decade of if it was a must-win, he'd be out there. Okay, I thought every game in the NFL was a must-win, but who am I, right?
Yeah. And again, just not in camp. He's not going to have to get out there and play in any games, but be active in camp. You don't want to have to deal with what you had to deal with Andrew Luck and then Peyton Manning coming in and, talking on his behalf, saying how much he wants to get back playing and involved, and then Luck deciding to quit, a week or so after that, which Manning was more than irritated about. There's no doubt, because he had said that just a week prior. So, yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like that whatsoever.
Yeah, you certainly hope so, right?
Yeah, and that's the reason why everybody around here is still very apprehensive about believing everything, and I think with good reason.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I guess, man, one step forward, 2 steps back. I mean, I guess the good news is just when we thought that everything looked good because everybody was there and they were good to go, and then boom, this falls, right? I mean, it's cartoon Anvil sometimes, it feels like, when it's covering the Colts. It does feel that way.
At least we don't have to talk about Kenny Moore not reporting. That's a good thing, right?
Well, you're not kidding there, man. I mean, I like the guy. He seems like a nice guy. He's a good player. He fell off a cliff once he got everybody that watched Hard Knocks to see how much the team loved him. So you hope he bounces back and has a good year. I think he probably will. But this goes a long way in that, just being around and doing what is asked. I think I never was concerned that would get ugly per se, but I think people would have raised an eyebrow if all of a sudden he decided to do a holdout. And he still may, who knows? But I was happy to see that he did report today.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that, at least as of right now. Does he have a point, do you believe? Does he have a point about being underpaid?
Listen, I get it. I've always been under this school of thought. I know that players can be cut at any point if they're underperforming. I totally get that. But he signed a contract. And, there might have been times where he was overpaid early on in it, when he got in the league. I mean, no, I don't think so. And I know that makes an unpopular opinion. I get it. I certainly understand that you should be able to go out and get every dollar that is available to you. But I've also been a big believer in, and this is probably why I'm not a very good businessman, I've always been a believer in your word is your word, and when you agree upon something, you hold up to that bargain.
Jake Query, The Morning Show, Kevin and Query, 7 until 10 a.m., weekday mornings, Monday through Friday, here on the Fans on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So I gathered yesterday morning you guys talked to somebody that covers Iowa Hawkeye basketball. Did he talk at all, Kevin, swing for the fences, Bowen in this draft off the why Keegan Murray can't be a high-level player in the NBA for the Pacers ledge?
No, you know what? It was interesting. We talked to, you are correct, a guy that covers Iowa that knows, I think, the Murray family pretty well, actually. At least it seemed as though he did. And I think he was basically saying what we all know, which was that Keegan Murray is probably the safest pick. I think that he doesn't have, John, you look at some of the other players that would be in the mix for Indiana, I don't know that his ceiling maybe is as high as the others. But I also think that I don't know that a franchise trajectory changing player is available at 6. So he may be, I think he has by far the highest floor of anybody in that area as well. In other words, I think you have a pretty good feel that if you draft Keegan Murray, at the very least, you're getting a good to very good player. Are you going to get an elite build around Paul George, Victor Oladipo, Jermaine O'Neal player? Probably not. But I think you're going to get a nice, solid piece. I mean, a younger T.J. Warren type player, which is a very good piece to have. I don't know that the other 3 exist at number 6, and I think that's basically what the conversation was.
All right, when you look at the draft, Pacers right now at number 6, maybe swing for the fences, if we were going to define it as such, would be trading up to get in the top 3. I would call that swinging for the fences. I wouldn't call swinging for the fences taking a risk on Shaden YouTube clip sharp, right? I wouldn't call it that. That's not swinging for the fences. Swinging for the fences would be moving up. So, to me, it's logical, and this is my opinion, to move up in the top 3 if you wanted somebody, and in my opinion, that would be Paolo Banchero. But would you move up another spot to get either Murray or Ivy? Would you move up to 5, or would you trade up to 4 to get Ivy or Murray, or would you stand where you are at 6 if that was the case?
I think the difference between Murray and Ivy may not be as great as the difference of what you would have to give up to get there. So you might be better off holding at 6. And Jaden Ivey's a wonderful player. He has a lot of unique characteristics, and he may be a John Morant level player. I mean, but there are still a lot of things that I think have to come to him. I do think it's a 3-player draft. I think it's a 3-player draft, and I personally think a 2-player draft. I think it's Jabari Smith and Banchero in no particular order there. I think those 2 guys are immediately plug in and can be really trajectory-changing players for you. Now, I've talked to people that have far more knowledge and time invested in this than I, who say that Chet Holmgren is a generational player. That seems to me to be a stretch. I get it. I mean, he does seem vastly skilled. I think there are concerns from just a durability standpoint at the next level. But he is very highly thought of. And people who can impact the draft more so than can I say that he is an absolutely pillar-level player. So there are 3 of them. So I think if the Pacers really wanted to go from 5th gear to 6th gear on this, they would have to get into the top 3 at minimum. I think Ivy's a wonderful player, and I think he's going to be a very, very good player. But I don't know that to me personally, I don't make that move and spend pieces to get into to move up in the draft unless I'm getting a player that has, like, let's say, less than a 10% chance of not being worth my investment. And I think Ivy's more like an 80-20. I think the other, and again, Holmgren to me, I'm going to take out of that because I'm not a huge believer, but those that are, say, 95-5, 98-2, that's his ratio. And Smith and Banchero seem to be in that same category as well.
So, Jay Query on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How highly disappointed would we all be if they did choose to trade down? I don't think that that's in the cards, but I'd have to think that everybody would be pretty disappointed, correct?
Yeah, I think it's always disappointing, right? I mean, I was at, I was down on the south side with Miller Lite on the Colts NFL draft, and when they traded down, when they were up on the board and they trade, you could kind of feel the wind go out of people's sails. I mean, the saving grace being that everybody had a cold Miller Lite to go with, but and then they end up getting Alec Pierce, which is a really good player. But there's no doubt. I mean, you get so excited about where you're going to pick to move down. It would, of course, depend upon who they got or what they got in the package. I don't think. You know what, though, John? I'll be honest. Like, we could sit here and say we don't think they'll do that, but Kevin Pritchard. Say what you want about Kevin Pritchard, as a drafter, but I mean, when it comes to trades, man, he is not afraid to make a deal, and he is, and more often than not, he's pretty savvy at it.
The only reason I bring it up is if you don't go up into the top 3, Ivy goes at 4 and Murray goes at 5, and maybe they view Mathurin higher than Murray, equal to Murray, whatever, and you don't want to take a swing. In this case, it's Shaedon Sharpe because not enough is known. That makes me wonder a little bit.
You like Murray a lot, don't you?
I do, yeah. I think he's smooth, and I love all really good shooters, certainly. I think he's smooth, and I've said this before. I think this team needs a translation, a quick translation into, growing and producing as a player and not somebody you have to wait on a long period of time. And I think that he brings that type of game, just his shot-making ability. He can develop off to the dribble, right? He's athletic enough to do that, but just, the drive and dish of Halliburton, for example, and, the jump shooting ability of Murray, I think it would be big for this team and its development early, because these fans say it right now, Jake, but as well as I do, being around here this long, there's not going to be a lot of wait, not going to be a lot of patience on this thing.
And here's what's interesting. Rob asks us a good question on Twitter here. What does Keegan Murray not have that Reggie Miller had in 1987, right? And that's a good question, except for that I would say this. And I know it's a different game, in the way it's played. But Reggie Miller, as good as he was when he came into the NBA, he had two things that I think, and I haven't seen Keegan Murray enough, but Reggie Miller had a very quick release. He could come off a curl without even looking at the rim and turn and fire, right? But the other thing, too, that you forget, Reggie Miller went through 2.5 years of the Pacers trying to figure out whether Reggie Miller or Chuck Person was going to be their focal point. And it wasn't until, quite frankly, the Pacers went out and got Dale Davis and Antonio Davis as enforcers on the low block to free up Reggie Miller. And Reggie Miller had to come off of all of that traffic in the inside to get himself, even though he could get his own shot, they found it most advantageous to get defenders off of him regardless, just because he didn't have the physical frame necessarily to go in through the lane, etc. Now, Keegan Murray, I'm not saying Keegan Murray is frail like Reggie Miller, but what I'm saying is even Reggie Miller didn't become the true Reggie Miller that we know until they had internal working, like blue-collar, foundation guys for him to go off of. And I don't know, so that would be my answer. What does Keegan Murray not have that Reggie Miller had? And the answer is Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, and probably Mark Jackson. Now, Halliburton's a hell of a talent, but, I don't know. It's a different game, admittedly. He's not having to go through Charles Oakley and drive into the lane against Rick Bourne. I get that. But I do think that Reggie had some pretty good pieces to help him become Reggie Miller.
Well, and early on, if memory serves, and you can help me out with this, Reggie shot well early too, right? I mean, he developed that three-point game, but field goal percentage-wise, I believe he shot the ball pretty well coming in to the NBA, on that particular team. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Just some shot-making ability, something where you show everybody signs as a young player and growing that would help mix in with the rest, and not just kind of waiting around on somebody's, broke-ass jumper because they have a 49-inch vertical leap.
Right. No, do we need another Gerald Green? It was like, he's unbelievable. He was great at the McDonald's All-American Dunk Contest. Okay, great. I get it. So I get what you're saying for sure. Look, I think Murray, like I said, I think Murray is, at the very least, to me, Keegan Murray is a really solid Acura Legend, which is a really nice car, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, all of a sudden the Pacers had a chance to be able to go into the dealership with the check that would have bought them a Bentley or a Rolls. Nothing wrong with an Acura Legend, but when for a 2-week period there you really thought, or a 2-month period, you really thought that you had your shot at a Mercedes 500, it's like, yeah, okay, Acura Legends. And a year from now, an Acura Legend will be a really nice car for you. But when you're driving it off the lot thinking you were going to get a Mercedes S500, you're like, okay. And I like Acura Legends, don't get me wrong.
When Kevin Pritchard said a couple of weeks, if not longer, that they were going to be aggressive in this draft, did that speak to you as saying moving up, they're going to try to move up as much as possible, or feeling free to move around? What did that say to you? How did you translate it?
I took that as the latter, and I took that as we're open for business if you want to call. You got to leave yourself open, right, to what's out there. Who knows who knows what offerings are going to be there? You just never know. Sometimes deals happen. What I hope they don't do is go out and get, an aging a Russell Westbrook or a John Wall or one of these guys that has a huge price tag and is well beyond their glory years. But I think that was his way of saying, look, I'm not saying that we're going to trade out of sticks, but we're not opposed to it. So I want GMs elsewhere to know, if you want our spot and you've got something that you want to offer, we'll take a look at it. That's how I took that.
So we're not talking about any sign-in trades for DeAndre Ayton.
Listen, I could be proven wrong.
I'll have a good show after that one. Really good. Yeah.
You know what DeAndre Ayton is to me? DeAndre Ayton to me is a guy that has the defensive presence of a Miles Turner and at times the offensive feel on the low block of I'm not saying the same skill set, but offensively, to get him the basketball, you've got to run similar sets to what you did with Domas Sabonis.
Yep.
So literally, DeAndre Ayton is like the hybrid of the two guys that you realized that you needed to pick one, not the other. Why would you go right back to that? I really do believe, John, I really, really, really believe that the one thing the Pacers decided with Rick Carlisle they don't want to do is run half-court offensive sets that rely on getting the ball into the middle for somebody they've got to wait to come down on. So to me, the Ayton thing would not make sense.
If Keegan Murray turned out to be Danny Granger, if they draft him at number 6, numbers-wise, without, let's just say, a healthier version of, would that satisfy you?
Yeah, second highest single season scoring average in Pacers NBA.
I've said the same thing.
And yeah, I mean, imagine Danny Granger if you had Tyrese Halliburton and Isaiah Jackson for a couple of years. And I'll tell you, the wild card in all of it, I know it's going to be almost impossible, but I'd love if they could re-sign Jalen Stick Smith. I think he's going to be a nice player. So yeah, Danny Granger with those pieces, hell yeah, sign me up.
Jay Query's with us. Before I let you go, you're a big salad guy, right? You like salads?
Yeah. I went down to Green District today, as a matter of fact.
I got one. I got a Cobb salad from Chick-fil-A, as you saw when you came in there. Have you ever used Chex Mix for croutons?
I mean, I guess I could have gone with uncooked ramens while I was at college.
Yeah, you guys. Why are you guys? You're missing out because you can get it. You can get it in cheddar or bold or regular. They're great. They're great as croutons.
No, it. You know what? It's not a bad call. It makes pretty good sense. I mean, at least you didn't say, have I ever used Cap'n Crunch for croutons? I mean, that would seem a little much. I've not used Chex Mix for croutons, but I will tell you that I will give you kudos because that actually sounds like it would be passable and it would be decent. I'm not a crouton guy, so like when I put the fork into the salad, I don't want anything going and flying off of it, and because it didn't. I want like everything going on the fork. So
I'm telling you, it is get cheddar Chex Mix and put it on a salad. It's a game changer. It is.
Yeah, it makes, okay, I mean, I like dried cranberries or whatever they're called for the same reason, which have sugar in them, but they add a little flavor. So I will give you a solid C+ to B- on your invention there. That is not bad.
This cranberry fruit.
Yeah,
right? I don't want any fruit on my salad though. Like I don't want apples or fruit or grapes or berries or any of that crap. No, I hate strawberries. Believe it. Yeah, you believe that?
Blueberries?
Never.
Okay. Are you an anti-cantaloupe guy?
Crunch berries, yes.
Fair enough.
Nope, you got to try that sometime. Get a bag of Chex Mix cheddar, and then sprinkle that on your salad.
All right, I'll try it out.
Give that a try. Hey, we are RIP Sky Point Jim Seals of the duo Seals and Crofts, which is 3 songs deep, a yacht rock staple with Summer Breeze, appropriate for this time of year around here, Diamond Girl, and Get Closer. Jim Seals of Seals and Crofts passed away today at the age of 80.
I was going to say 77 was going to be my guess, but now that's Summer Breeze makes me feel nice. Isn't that it?
You'll have to look this up, too. I believe Jim Seals played the saxophone in the late 50s song Tequila. I believe that to be true. Kyle, look that up. Because sometimes I make stuff up. I don't think I'm making this up. Sometimes I dream stuff.
This is going to drive me crazy. It's going to drive me crazy on who did Tequila. I mean, I was thinking the Tokens, but that's...
The Champs. That would be the Champs. The Champs.
Darn it. I knew
that. That's pretty good, though, right? It's a good saxophone sound effect.
Of course. That's impressive that you did that.
I'm like the guy in Police Academy, Michael Winslow. Remember? How the hell did that guy get famous doing that? How the hell that guy get famous doing that? They let anybody be famous in the 80s. What the hell?
That is true. Well, like I said, Pee Wee Herman, case in point.
Michael Winslow making computer sounds. Got famous in the 80s for that. So, hey, by the way, Greg says Reggie Miller averaged 24 points a game when Dale Davis was still playing at Clemson. So okay. I thought that Reggie came into the league shooting. He shot it when that's exactly the type of thing I'm looking for with a guy like Keegan Murray who can give you something like that immediately.
I will tell you this. I once had a conversation with Donnie Walsh and asked him, actually, I didn't ask him this. It was unsolicited. We were discussing Dale Davis, and Donnie Walsh, unsolicited to me, said, that's the single most important piece that I acquired in building the teams that we had here that were so good, because it changed everything that we were able to do and what we envisioned to be able to do offensively with Reggie. That's almost a direct quote. So I was paraphrasing that earlier.
Yeah. Well done.
I was taking that as my own thought.
Hey, by the way, are you guys good to go? The morning show got the thing ready for the 22nd, a night in the fan cave?
They tell us that they want a well-rehearsed skit. I think what we're going to do, I told you this before, I think we're just going to do a Brady Bunch bit where Kevin and I are going to sing a song, and then Mark Dykton is going to be like Peter Brady and sit up above us and drop water and birds, feathers, and snowflakes on us while we're singing.
Hey,
no, I don't know. We're going to get up. We're going to get up. Kevin's going to talk some Colts stuff. I'll answer some Indy 500 stuff. Mark will come on and crack a couple jokes. We'll have fun with it. We'll have a lot of fun. And I look forward to it because it's a great chance to sit around. You get a couple of drinks with your ticket into the fan cave, and all of us are going to be there. And it will be a lot of fun for people just to get a chance to hang out with people and just talk some sports and have a good time.
Be a good time. Hey, by the way, really quick, who ruined a Brady Bunch episode more, Jan or Bobby?
Oh, Oliver.
No, well, I mean, that's obvious at the final season, but who, up until that point, who was a regular on that show that ruined it more than Bobby or Jan?
I would go with Jan. I mean, like I said, all you got to know is that Eve Plum, once the show ended, Eve Plum's agent found her a job as the commercial spokesperson for Burger Chef. So, I mean, that kind of tells you how things went, right?
It should have been much better than that, though. Burger Chef deserved much better.
Burger Chef was good, but that's my instant request. Can you bounce back, please, with Eve Plum singing with the Burger Chef staff in their commercials in 1977?
Oh,
listen up, America! Let's play it. It's great.
The big chef. They had the Fixins bar before they invented the sneeze bar. Remember that? They had the sneeze guard. Right. They had the Fixins bar. You could just sneeze and cough all over everything.
Burger Chef and Jeff gave zero care about it.
He didn't. All right, man. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, Kevin and Query. Part of that would be one Jay Query on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, see you, John.
All right. Quick break. We're back to you. Am I right? The champs? Yeah. Did you look that up? Jim Seals? Yep. Oh, yeah. Look at the big brain on me today. Quick break. Back with you next.
He taught you how to ride a bike, to always listen to your mother, and how to behave when watching sporting events.
Holy shit, he traveled. He traveled and you know he traveled.
Now it's time to say, thanks, Dad. Take him to a night in the fan cave, June 22nd at the Indiana Historical Society. Eating, drinking, and talking sports with your favorite fan hosts. What better way to say thanks to dear old Dad? Tickets at 1075thefan.com.
Hey, Johnny, for Love Heating and Air Conditioning, $95 off. Just mention my name for that spring service. In this case, the late spring service. You got to make sure your cooling unit's going to be good to go because it's going to be consistently hot, consistently humid, and you want to stay cool and comfortable in your home. Got to make sure that thing is good to go. $95 off your late spring service just by mentioning my name. And I'll tell you this, I'm getting my late spring service coming up on Friday. So get your appointment on the books today and get $95 off just by mentioning my name to John and Chris Love at the absolute best. Love Heating and Air. 317-754-0754 online. love-hvac.com today.
911, what's your emergency? I will get someone to speak with you. Please stay on the line.
Hola, tengo su ubicación. Ayuda está en camino.
Getting past a language barrier is critical when first responders help Hoosiers. That's why the State 911 Board provides special tools for non-English speaking citizens to communicate with emergency services.
Si estás en peligro, aunque no hables inglés, podrás recibir ayuda en una emergencia rápidamente.
All Indiana 911 centers began offering translation services in over 240 languages in 2019. Now people can send text messages for help in their native language to 911 and receive a translated text back from the dispatcher. It's It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations.
Cuando llame o envíe un texto al 911, un servicio de traducción se asegurará que entiendan lo que está diciendo.
For more information, visit in911.net.
Gracias.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
Hey, JMV, and right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. The most aggressive offer ever going down. You can pick any item. Get the super low price Diamonds Direct. It's known for already, and then spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Zero down, no exceptions. This time of year, it's big, right? You got an anniversary coming up, maybe a big-time birthday, and you need to do this thing up right. You need to do this thing up big, and you can do it with my friends at Diamonds Direct. 5 year, zero interest financing, anything and everything at Diamonds Direct. Don't miss it. The incredible limited-time offer. 5 years, zero interest, details, directions, and more. It's online, diamondsdirect.com, on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
The spirit of the game burns inside us. The pursuit of greatness fires us up. A never-ending flicker of light that guides us back home when we stray from the path. Fever Ignite is a rallying cry for the next era in the rich history of Fever basketball. A fresh start, a clean slate. You feel that, Indiana? The temperature is rising again. Fever Ignite.
Your Fever are back Friday at 7 for Pride Night, presented by Salesforce. Catch the action at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum.
John for PAI, WeGrowHairAndy.com. Real, and I mean real, incredible growing hair. All you got to do is make that call, talk to Darren Andrews, get that private consultation today. 888-724-5129. WeGrowHairAndy.com today.
This June at Big Red Liquors, it's ice cold beer, hot prices, and even hotter prizes. It's the big giveaway. And this month, Big Red Liquors is giving away 10 Yeti Roadie coolers. Stop by any Big Red Liquors to enter to win. It's free.
Must be 21 to enter. No purchase necessary.
Well, another 500 is in the books. So let's look at the June checklist. Colts draft? Check. Pacers didn't make the playoffs? Check. The race is over? Check. Now back to the speculation, conjecture, and rumors.
I hear Shade and Sharp. I've never seen the guy other than YouTube clips.
With the 6th pick, the Indiana Pacers select.
Find out June 23rd with the NBA Draft on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Can I buy you guys a drink?
Guess not. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
R.I.P. Jim Seals.
See the smile of Wayne in the kitchen, food cooking on the plates for two. Feel the arms that reach out.
Get a little Larceny bourbon, and I'll chill out to a little summertime yacht rock from Seals and Crofts. This is Summer Breeze.
Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
What do you think, Kyle? Can you get down with that? No? Does this sound extremely old for your generation?
Yeah,
like,
it does.
What does this sound?
I wouldn't want to actively listen to it. I mean, it's like if it's on in the background, fine. But I'm not seeking out to listen to this song.
Are you chilling out just by hearing this right now? Does it kind of ease any sort of level of tension you might have?
Sure.
That's what it does to me right here. 1972. I was just kind of curious. How old are you again? 27?
Yeah.
So does this sound, because 27, this came out in 72, way before you were here. Like how many years before you were here?
Let's see, 23 years. I was born in 95.
So that sounded incredibly old is what you're saying.
I think it sounds relaxing, maybe not on its own, but if it is joined by a bourbon or maybe something else.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be relaxing.
Poolside, in the pool, like half in and half out, sitting on the step. I know a lot of you with the really nice pools have one of those benches, the internal pool bench, where nobody gets out and everybody just pees right where they're sitting. It's kind of like a swim-up bar. That's the one thing. The swim-up bar is awesome. It is great. You know that you're in a tropical paradise or something close to it with a swim-up bar, but you also realize that everybody will be in there for 8 hours and not once get out to urinate. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Jim Seals was 80 years old. Summer breeze, Diamond Girl, Get Closer, all very yacht rocky, I should say, right there. Swim up toilet. The only thing that you're more sure that they're not getting out to take a whiz is in the kiddie pool. The kiddie pool and the adult swim-up bar. Brady asked this, JMV, did you sleep at all between the JMV takeover and starting your race day grind? I did not. Not one moment. Zero. I tried to. I actually tried to out in the infield, and I just ended up sitting and listening to music. It was about as peaceful as ever. But I did not get any sleep. I went 38 and a half hours without proper bed rest. It was impressive. It really was. Yeah, regarding Keegan Murray, getting back to that conversation, that's the one thing, and I'm not suggesting you draft Keegan Murray and you're going to get Reggie Miller. I'm not even suggesting you draft Keegan Murray and you're going to get Danny Granger. But you would be satisfied, certainly with one or the other, right? Or somewhere in between? Would you be satisfied if the Pacers drafted at number 6 and that's what you got? I'm assuming yes. Because a lot of people look down on Danny Granger's career. Certainly with injury, you want to have a player that is longer term, more healthy. But he put up some really good numbers. Popeye writes this and is right. His brother was Dan Seals, or England Dan, of England Dan and John Ford Coley. That is true. Little yacht rock connection going on right there. That is very true. Good research out of you. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. You would be satisfied with either. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, too, regarding Darius Leonard. Darius Leonard says he's going to be okay. The Colts say Darius Leonard's going to be okay. Had back surgery today. In fact, he responded to a tweet from Pat McAfee a little bit earlier. Let me make sure it's still up here. Believe that it is. Pat from his show said Darius Leonard having back surgery is not good news, and I would agree. You're just talking about a high-level athlete getting back surgery. When you hear it for face value like that, you know, if it's something like where you had to have something removed, whatever. But when you hear it like that, and you're talking to a high-level athlete, it's concerning. It can be concerning. Darius Leonard's response was this. It's great news, honestly. Give me a call, and I'll give you the info on it. So we had to give him our number to see if he would call us and give us the info on it. Because I think you guys are you're the Colts fans around here. Everybody around here deserves that. So I am open to it. I am open to it finding out. I'll be honest with you. Some people believe, oh, man, you so dwell on the negative. You want something to be wrong. I don't want anything to be wrong. I never want to have to go through all that Andrew Luck crapola ever again. Seriously, ever again. We can get great numbers here without having to draw upon that. Always. I just don't want to have to deal with that again. I'm just explaining how, fan base-wise, I completely get your level of skepticism. And granted, that's going to happen until you see these guys play again. That goes all the way back to the end of the season. Hey, Mike, jump on here at 239-1070 before the break. Hello.
You probably lose 100 listeners here.
Well, that's not unusual. I probably did that when I opened my mouth at 3 o'clock.
But, so it's funny, Jim Seals you're referring to. Some people get him confused with Dan Seals. Now, Dan Seals was England Dan of John Coley. Also had somewhat of a country career on his own, but I think people get the two mixed up. It's not much different. So you have Loggins and Messina, right?
Right.
Which included Kenny Loggins, who claim to fame is probably movie soundtrack songs. But there was also David Loggins at the same time,
yes,
who did songs like Please
Come to Boston. Yes.
Exactly right. So I was trying to clarify a little bit that Dan Seals was England Dan.
Right.
Even though he wasn't from England.
Right. Right.
And Jim Seals was with Dash Croft, of course, Seals of Croft. And I'm sure your advertisers are furious right now.
Oh, they love it, buddy. Mike, I appreciate the updates. The thing about it is, and I mention this all the time, and that's why we got to start giving away more concert tickets again, too. You guys love that. Sports fans love music as much as they love sports. It is right there. These two go together perfectly. Always have and always will. It's just me that I had to bring us all together finally. I'm the one that said, oh, yeah, they love music and they love sports. Let's bring us all together. We don't have to be one or the other. You love it just as much as you love sports. Quick break and we'll return. Zak Keefer, top of the hour. Darius Leonard's back surgery. Kenny Moore was back at the mandatory minicamp. That and more coming up with Zach, top of the hour. Don't leave.
It's a night in the fan cave presented by Forum. Join Kevin Bowen, Jake Query, Dan Dockich, and JMV for a night of entertainment. Find tickets and details at 1075thefan.com.
O'Reilly. Get ready for summer vacation now at O'Reilly Auto Parts with up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power, performance, and reliability your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are made to deliver long life and consistent starts. Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, I saw my guy out at the Speedway for the greatest spectacle in racing. Yes, Mark Dietel, the absolute best in realty around Indianapolis. I mean, in and around all areas of Indy, certainly the absolute best at what he does. 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com, markdietel.com. Today, now, if you're in the market, seriously, if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, you want to see what you can get out of it because you see so much going on with it right now, or there are even more so legitimate reasons as to why you're going to do that, whether it's downsizing with maybe kids going off to college, something like that, whatever. Mark Dietel is the guy that you need to call and you need to go with because he is the absolute best at what he does. In fact, he's going to guarantee multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he's going to list it for free. That's Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232. Tell Mark that I sent you, 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com, markdietel.com today.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Racetrack service. Oh, the best racetrack service at waste disposal and recycling. If you don't have them, get them and use them right now. All you have to do is log on racetrash.com to make that happen. Plus, if you're looking for a new career, you have a driving opportunity with a commercial driver's license to work and to drive for the absolute best. We're talking great pay, incredible benefits for a company that's been family operated since the 1960s. Yeah, Racetrash Service. Drivers and non-drivers today. If you want a new career with a great company that's been around forever, this is it. Log on racetrash.com today.
Hey there, it's Jake Query. Coming up this Wednesday at Indy's Dirt Track, Circle City Raceway. They're hosting the Indy Midget Week with the biggest stars of the USAC NOS National Midget Series taking on the quarter-mile bull ring. Plus, Jonathan Bird's 410 non-wing sprint cars will be playing in the dirt. All presented by Maston & Kane Warehousing and Services. A night at Circle City Raceway features family-friendly racing action, great food, free parking, and outrageous fun. For more information about tickets and times, check out CircleCityRaceway.com.
Hey, JMV here for CarX Tire and Auto. The summer travel package, just $99.99. I'm talking synthetic blend oil change, up to 5 quarts. Coolant exchange, tire rotation, brake inspection, battery test, 2 standard wiper blades. Get a lot of stuff working. Maybe you're going to go out in your vehicle, go for a trip, summertime gathering, whatever. Make sure you maintain summer road readiness. With my Joe Childers run 14 central Indiana locations of CarX today. Tell them I sent you and find that location nearest you. CarX.com today.
We're the most active season of the year right now, but if you have joint pain, you can't live like you want to. Whether it's heading to the zoo, walking on the canal, attending an Indians game, hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, it sucks the fun out of living. I'm Kevin Bowen, and I've got some fantastic news for you, though. QC Kinetics is helping the people get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local professionals right here in Indy locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. We're talking regenerative medicine. It's the hottest thing going. It's basically a growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them into your aching joints. It's exciting. In-office, non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real, lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. Yes, you can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. So call QC Kinetics 463-235-7160. Again, locations in Eagle Creek and Greenwood.
The NTT IndyCar Series races at Road America, Sunday at 12:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Bullish Brand's hanging and banging with you until the 8 o'clock hour. Coming up, we have artists such as Living Color and the Fine Young Cannibals right now. Here's Roxette, The Look, 89.9 WROL.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Kyle's over there. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Jake Query, Greg Rakestraw, podcast 107.5thefan.com. Shout out to Chris Hagan, Fox 59, who was in here for me yesterday. Really appreciate that. Mark writes this. So I read yesterday that Murray likely will go at number 5 JMV, and Johnny Davis, not Benedict Mathurin, is a growing possibility at 6. While I like Johnny Davis as a player, I don't like him with the Pacers. I would go Mathurin before I would go Davis in that case. JMV, if the Pacers whiff on this draft, how long do you think it would set the franchise back? Feels like what fan base that's left is kind of on eggshells right now. Well, I mean, everybody's going to be in trouble. There's no doubt. Kevin, Chad, everybody's going to be in trouble. Everybody's in trouble. You cannot whiff on it. This is what's funny to me, and you guys can answer this. Why does the sure thing in this case seem like a negative? Why do people phrase this, describe this as a negative? Because as an end result, you want this player to be productive. And if you are sure, in your opinion, that this player in your system will be productive, what the hell's wrong with that? I'm just curious. I know everybody's not a sure thing. But what people would describe as such, what would be wrong with that? Why do you view it that way? Just out of curiosity, We'll answer that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Zak Keefer on the back surgery of Darius Leonard and the level of concern. If it's at the level of the fan base and what we've talked about so far, it is relatively high. If it's the level of the Colts linebacker, Darius Leonard himself does not seem concerned whatsoever. Zak Keefer will talk about that from The Athletic with us next.
Well, another 500 is in the books, so let's look at the June checklist. Colts draft? Check. Pacers didn't make the playoffs? Check. The race is over? Check. Now back to the speculation, conjecture, and rumors.
I hear Shade and Sharp. I've never seen the guy other than YouTube clips.
With the 6th pick, the Indiana Pacers select.
Find out June 23rd with the NBA Draft on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, John for PAI, WeGrowHairAndy.com. Real growing hair right now. All you have to do is call the number 888-724-5129. Darren Andrews, my friend, will explain it all in full detail to you. All right. My hair may not be well combed today, but the proof is it is ample. Beyond ample right here. And you could have this, except you would just like run a comb through it occasionally right now. 888-724-5129. It works. Real growing hair with PAI. WeGrowHairAndy.com today.
The housing market has started to cool, but inventory is still low and homes are selling fast. We need to get you pre-approved today. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Helzberg Diamonds presents the guy who hit a home run with an engagement ring. Andy was on a mission to find the perfect engagement ring. But where to start? He did research, went online, asked his best friend for advice.
Hey, for engagement rings, where should I...
Helzberg! Andy went to Helzberg Diamonds. At Helzberg, Andy found an incredible selection of lab-grown and natural diamonds, certified and guaranteed to be of the highest quality. He also found help choosing a custom setting from Julie, a Helzberg Diamond expert.
Don't worry, we got this.
Plus, he learned about Helzberg's special financing options, so Andy could get the perfect ring for her with a payment plan that was perfect for him. And when it was time to propose, he got the reaction he wanted.
Wow, you really hit it out of the park, babe.
Mission accomplished. Be like Andy. Find the ring of her dreams at a Helzberg store near you or at Helzberg.com. And right now, take advantage of special financing offers. Hurry, offer ends soon.
So you're thinking about doing something that makes you a little bit nervous. Completely understand, because I probably would feel the same way. JMV here for the absolute best in realty. That's Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com today. Big money situations does tend to make me incredibly nervous, especially if you haven't gone through them before or it's been a long time ago when you did just that. That's why you need to go with the best. Now, I will tell you this. Mark, to me, would be the person I would go with that I would trust. So, yeah, my nerves would be dialed down. And that's exactly how you want to feel. That's why you go with the best. And in the best in realty, here locally, it's Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232. Now, he also will give you a guarantee. Multiple offers in 3 days, full market value, or he's going to list it for free. Again, that number, 317-755-4232, MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com today.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis. Your home for the 2022 NBA playoffs and the NBA Finals. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper, make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Rakestraw Query Podcast, 107.5thefan.com. A lot of conversations so far from Greg regarding Darius Leonard, the back surgery. Kenny Moore reporting on time today to the mandatory minicamp. That's a good story. And everything else regarding the Colts mandatory minicamp with Greg, with Jake a little bit earlier too. Pacers draft, that is coming up, the NBA draft in a little over 2 weeks now. In fact, We are a little over 2 weeks until the night in the Fan Cave. Indiana Historical Society coming up on the 22nd of June. All of these shows will be there. The Larceny Bourbon Lounge, that will be worth the ticket price regardless. So you're going to sit there with me, and I get to go last, so I'll be like half in the bag by the time I get going. And Kyle and I have come up with an incredibly effective way of gathering and keeping your attention. I don't know if I should go any further than that, but here's how you know. Here's how you hang. Here's how you come out and have some Larceny bourbon and eat and just have a great time with us. Log on 1075thefan.com. Get your tickets now. I promise this is me talking here. I promise you a great time. 22nd of June. Get your tickets now, 1075thefan.com. Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from the Athletic. Our friend Zak Keefer joins us. So you've got Colts fans that are freaking over a back surgery. It was an ankle, and now it's a back, and it's a back surgery. Colts fans are freaking. Media folks are freaking a little bit. McAfee's freaking. You got Darius Leonard is the one that's not freaking right now. Who are we to believe? And grant this. The fan base and us, I think in particular, have good reason to look at this with a little bit of skepticism because we've been down this type of path before.
Been there, done that, right? I've done it. You've done it. All the fans out there have done it. So I don't blame them for the concern. You know, I genuinely have probably the same amount of concern. When it's one thing that becomes another thing, and when there's a surgery involved on the back of your 26-year-old defensive cornerstone, the concern is real and it's valid. It was a weird message that we got last week. You know, Darius hasn't shared a lot of details on the ankle. You know, we asked him about it a couple of weeks ago, and he said it's attached. Now, that's not the most encouraging response.
And that's like I'm an old guy at 52. That'd be something like I'd say, hey, it's still here. Hey, I'm above ground. That's the kind of stuff I answer to like that. Yeah. Old guy.
And maybe he's just being funny, but, I mean, this was a painful season for him last year, and the fact that he played as well as he did is remarkable because this dude was getting tons of rehab every single week just to get to the field. And then last week, Frank Reich was like, well, we kind of hit a lull, and we're not really sure what's going on, and it hasn't progressed. Okay, so he hasn't missed much time, but you know, he hasn't been on the field the entire spring. Today's when it starts to turn in my mind, right? Oh, there's a back issue, and he needs surgery. So, you know, the team, you know, behind closed doors, they're not freaking out. They're glad that they caught it now. They believe he'll be ready to go for September 11th, the opener in Houston. Frank Reich's like, look, does Darius need to play in the preseason? No, he doesn't, and I agree with him. However, back issues always give me concern. They just always do. Like someone said in the media room today, nobody ever says, I used to have back pain. Like, back pain is the worst for anyone out there who's had it. And hopefully the surgery takes care of that for Darius and he's back. But this is not the news you want for a guy that is the absolute heartbeat of your defense.
Did they always know that this ankle situation was related to the back situation? Is that what we gather from this information that we have?
No, I don't think they're related.
They're not.
And they're not related as far as I understand. And what I've gathered, if I've got this all correctly, is the ankle is coming around. They don't need another surgery on the ankle. The ankle should be good. Now, until he gets out there and plays, we're all going to be skeptical. The back is not something that started last season. It's something that has crept up in the last couple of weeks and perhaps a month. So it's strictly an off-season thing because he was training pretty hard by himself earlier this offseason. Now, he hasn't been on the field with the Colts, but they're unrelated as far as I'm concerned. Now, we've dealt with injuries before where they've been related and there's two body parts and anything can change. And like I said, you know, we can speculate all we want in June and July. Nothing really matters until he's back on the field. And it doesn't sound like that's going to happen until maybe the middle of August.
So was this maybe a kind of Larry Bird offseason down in French Lick, shoveling gravel in the driveway and hurting his back type of deal? Or do we know?
Do we know Larry anything? Was laying bricks down in French Lick.
I thought he was shoveling gravel.
Okay. His mom's house, right?
Yes, his mom's. I think he was putting in a driveway for his mom. I believe. I thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you got it straight.
We're both we are both in the same ballpark, so it matters not. But I'm just kind of curious. It was just working out, and this just occurred like in the past couple of days, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's my understanding. Not a couple of days though. It sounds like a couple of weeks, and initially it wasn't bad, but it's gotten worse. And so obviously you'd rather have a back surgery now than you would in August. But this is concerning. Like, to say that this isn't a big deal would just be irresponsible at this point.
So Zak Keefer of the Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. This really bums me out because it's something that you talked about when I brought you on here, how well he played individually a year ago. And speaking of masking things, his individual takeaways and his defense masked just how bad this defense would have been a year ago without all of those assets that he brought to the table game to game. And I was really wanting to see him as healthy as possible, work into this system where I really, Zach, like what they've done defensively in the offseason. I really like what they've done, and I want to see him as close to as healthy as possible to see what he can do when the defense is actually good around him and he's not making the defense with his plays.
You're totally right. I mean, there's no like someone asked me today, like, so who's the replacement? I'm like, it's EJ Speed, but there's no replacing this guy. Now you got to go back to last year, and it wasn't just playing through the ankle pain, but there was a mental struggle for Darius, and he has opened up about this more so than a lot of players. And this is real stuff. Like, this is real serious stuff with him. That's what he was able to do despite all the issues he was dealing with, both physically and mentally. 12 takeaways in 16 starts. He led the league in that category. I mean, his stats over the first 4 years are insane. I mean, they're just insane. Like 16 forced fumbles, 11 interceptions, 7 fumble recoveries. Like, I could go on and on. All the listeners out there know how vital this guy is to the Colts defense. But you're totally right for a couple of reasons. One, Ngakoue. Ngakoue changes things. He is exactly what they need at that pass rush spot. He's in town this week for the first time. Ngakoue getting after the quarterback makes Darius' life a little bit easier. And so does Gilmore in the back end. Gilmore and Moore in the back end changes things. There will be less on 53 this season than there was last year, because really, when he played poorly, which he did the last couple of games against the Raiders, he was coming off COVID, and then the Jaguars, where nobody played well. What happened? I mean, they completely fell apart. So the fact that this guy was playing on one ankle and still carrying that defense the way he did, what could he do when he was healthy? Maybe we'll see it this year. Maybe we will. But this is not what you want to hear the first week of June.
No, and especially we've been down a kind of path like this before, and hopefully it's not reminiscent whatsoever of that. But I am curious. You brought this up. Let's just say everything's okay. Now, before I get to this, though, I did want to ask you, I just was reminded of it. Did we know what kind of back surgery this was? I mean, was it would they describe it as minor?
That's the vibe I got. I don't want to speak out of turn. We pressed for details. Frank didn't really have them. He was just coming off the practice field. Now, Frank wasn't overly concerned. It didn't seem like the world is ending. However, we have to be skeptical. We have to be, you have to be, and the fans are, because this has gone the other way before, after just a minor surgery.
Yeah, so no doubt.
Did I mention it? Do you want to mention it? We don't want to go down that road.
Yeah. Was Frank prepared for the questions once he mentioned the whole back thing at all? Was he prepared for it?
Yeah, he knew it was coming. When your star linebacker's not out there, he knew they were coming, but he didn't have a lot of details. The surgery was today. It was on the West Coast. Darius tweeted that it went really well, which is obviously what you want to hear, but isn't that what we hear every time after a surgery?
Yes.
So, we'll see. There's no way, like, there's going to be questions until he's on the field. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, I was trying to put, I guess, as accurately as possible, Darius's tweet words into, all right, so if everything is great with the back, what could have possibly been the issue, I guess. But it seems like that there's not a lot of details floating around out there.
They're not sharing them. But it sounds like the prognosis with, a normal recovery with a good surgery is give him back a couple of weeks before the season and probably get him to practice. But again, you'll have to see. But some guys come back really quickly from this stuff. And Quenton Nelson, there's a lot of questions about Quenton's back. He's had some lingering back issues the last couple of years. It's not, it doesn't mean that their career is over. Quenton has fought through it. The Colts have had him. He has some surgeries, and he feels good. He said today he feels really, really healthy. So there are guys that have gotten through this. It doesn't mean there isn't some pain along the way, but we'll just have to see. But for those that have had back surgeries before, some of the players will tell you that they'd rather have 5 knee surgeries than 1 back surgery. So we'll just have to see how this goes in August.
Zak Keefer joins us. One thing more about Darius, then we'll move on to other aspects of this mandatory minicamp. Do you know, as Gus Bradley shared with you guys, how that Darius is going to be utilized? In what capacity with this new defense, and especially what they now have up front and what they have, in the back of this defense, how they're going to end up utilizing Darius once he's healthy and ready to go?
Yeah, we asked Gus Bradley this. We asked Darius himself, and it doesn't sound like his job's going to change that much. I do think the change in the way the defensive line plays, which is just, in the words of Nate Ollie, the new defensive line coach, just get up and go. Just go. They're not going to try and read what the offensive line's doing. They're not going to try and read the quarterback. They're going to try and put pressure on the quarterback, which is obviously something this defense needs to do more of. They need to get after the quarterback more. I think that's going to free some things up for Darius in the middle. But it would be fun. Like you said, now that you mentioned it, I'm thinking more about it. It would be fun to see him play on 2 good wheels this year. Because if you remember the first 4 or 5 games last year, he was not close to himself. So the ankle is still a concern. He said today on Twitter, he said the ankle feels great. That's really good news because that really slowed him down last year. If the surgery takes care of that, he should be more free to play in the middle of the field and do what he does. I mean, Bobby Okereke has looked good the last couple of days in practice, but it's July. They're not wearing pads. You're a little hesitant to come to any conclusions. But I think with the defensive line changes they're going to see, I think you're going to see Leonard have to do less catch-up in the down and more attacking. And he's very, very good at both, obviously.
Was Kenny Moore, was there ever a thought about not reporting to minicamp?
Only Kenny can answer that. We're going to talk to him tomorrow. I don't think so. This is just me guessing. He doesn't have a ton of leverage. It's not like he has a terrible contract. The team could fine him if he wasn't here this week. Now, he was here. He was doing individual drills. He left a little bit early, but Reich said it was more precautionary than anything else. But I don't see this getting super acrimonious. I just don't see that. I don't think that's Kenny's personality. I think the Colts have treated him fairly well considering what they gave him when they did. Now, that's not to say he has not superseded the contract. Like, he has outplayed that contract. He's that good. But the fact that he's there this week and showed up very likely means he'll do the same thing for training camp, and this won't get worse. He's trying to make his point. And we'll ask him tomorrow when we talk to him what his stance is and how dug in he is about getting this new deal.
Hey, Zach, when did he change representation? And is this the root of why he took somewhat of a passive-aggressive stance, was because of that change in reps?
That's a good question. He negotiated the first contract with Buddy Baker, Indianapolis-based agent, reps a lot of Colts guys over the years. And at the time, the Colts went out of their way to pay him early. It was almost like a contract of good faith. It was, we think you're going to become one of the best Pro Bowl cornerbacks in the league. We're going to pay you like it. Because at that point, he wasn't. He just come off one good season. Really, they paid him early, and he lived up to that, and then some. So now he's with a new agent, and he wants a big deal, and he wants to be paid like one of the best slot corners in the league, which he is, and probably a little bit more so like an outside corner. But we'll see. I don't anticipate the Colts changing their stance. I would really be surprised if they change their stance because of the precedent it would set for future deals.
And everybody would be lined up, right? I mean, you would think if they did
you just
change
open a can of worms.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is, why did he leave Buddy? Do you know?
No, I can't answer that.
That's interesting. So I was kind of curious because I didn't know the timing of this and if that was maybe a big play that his new reps decided to make. Because you're right, that does not seem like it. Especially, I mean, I'm factoring in the small thing. You gave the larger perspective on he's got 2 years remaining and not a lot of leverage. Even though he's a Pro Bowler, it was a great season, but what everybody remembers, those final 2 games where, unfortunately, like his team did most of the time, he got especially worked.
Yeah, that was, pick the guy. Pick the guy in that Jacksonville game. Nobody played well. But yeah, that's how it ended. And this was a little surprising to me, I'll be honest. But you look at the numbers and you see his stance. So I can see both sides. But, boy, I just don't think the Colts are going to rework anything. I just don't see that happening.
I'm curious if you thought about this, and I guess I did a little bit too. And I always like Kenny because he had a great deal of admiration for where he is and the fans. He's very he's very image conscious. You know what I mean? He wants to be that guy both on and off the field. And I kind of wondered if he felt maybe if he pushed this any further without that leverage that you're talking about, if that would be damaged a little bit. I kind of wondered if that might have played a role too.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know he's as connected to the fans as almost any player, I feel like, in that locker room. And it's partly because of his story, partly because of the way he gives back, but partly because of the way, that he's accessible. He'll talk to all of them. He'll come out in free agency and try to break news. So he's done that. And I saw a little bit of that, but, of course, we see everything on Twitter, right? We see the good and the bad, and we'll see. But you name the list of underappreciated Colts the last couple of years, and he's always at the top of everybody's list. And I don't think he's naive to that. And you only have so many years in this league to really get big, to really hit it big with a big contract. And I don't think he's naive to that either.
Yeah, it just kind of makes you wonder a little bit. Zak Keefer of the Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So do you get Ngakoue coming up tomorrow?
We talked to him today.
You talked to him today?
He's in town. Yeah, he's been in town. He's been in Florida. This is his usual routine. He likes to keep his routine the same, but he's in Florida, and he got in town today, and he looked good. And, of course, they're not playing real football, and it's even harder to learn about the defensive guys than it is the offensive guys because they're not even hitting. But, this guy's going to be exactly what they need. And I asked him, how much of a benefit is it for you stepping into this new team, new city, having played for Gus Bradley both in Las Vegas and Jacksonville? And he's like, look, man, I've been in this same system since I was a rookie. That tells you everything you need to know. So he's a guy that is new, but he's coming into a really, really comfortable position. He knows exactly what his spot on the line is expected to do. And with Nate Ollie, this new defensive line coach, it's going to be really fascinating how much their style changes because they just want to go and, as he said, take the seatbelt off and just go. So that's going to be right in line with what Ngakoue does.
So some have shown concern to me, and I don't know if you've heard that as well, because Ngakoue is riding on his 5th team and has a really nice resume, and certainly a guy that has produced basically everywhere he has been. Is there any concern with you or anybody else that this is team number 5? Because I don't have that concern, but there are a number of folks out there that might in this case. Any concern with that with you?
Yeah, it was the first question I asked after the trade. Why is he on his 5th team in 5 years or 6 years or whatever it is? Especially as productive as he is with a skill set that's very rare and very coveted, right? If guys can just go get the quarterback, like they're going to get paid. I don't care how many years, how many teams. Look, I'll tell you this. Everybody I've talked to inside the building loves this guy. The Colts love him. They really think highly of him. Bradley loves him. Ballard is on board. I think he had some issues in Baltimore with the coaches and how they used him. And I think he had some issues in Jacksonville when he didn't get paid. Now, that's maybe a little speculative on my part. That's kind of what I've heard secondhand. But no, I think both things can be true. I think it's a totally legit question, but I also think the Colts don't have any concerns on that front. Remember, he's here for 1 year. 1 year, about $10 million. He's looking at a free agency next year where he could get paid if he has a big season. So he's going to be absolutely locked in. And I would imagine he wants to stay here if it goes well. He likes Bradley. If this team does well this season, it makes a lot of sense. Will they pony up for a pass rusher? We'll see. It depends on probably Kwity Paye a little bit and Dio as well. But every reason in the world to believe that Yannick brings it this year.
We know who signs off on this, but what you think that the guy that orchestrated Ngakoue here was Gus Bradley more so than anybody else?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've done this a couple times in the past where if they have a new coach, they listen to the coach, they listen to his preferences, and you've been piping for this, and I've been saying this too. They needed to go get a pass rusher, and if you're going to give up Rocky Sin, you make that trade 10 times out of 10 because you give up a cornerback who's been up and down and up and down for a pass rusher who's good for 10 sacks a year. You give that up every day. That's absolutely a trade you make 10 times out of 10.
Was that his availability just there because of Chandler Jones going to Vegas?
Yeah, I believe so. They signed Jones that same day. They paid him a lot of money, and I think it makes total sense. Yeah, I mean Jones is more productive.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird how that short time for a productive player that certainly has a resume and a great deal of confidence at playing that position as an edge rusher around the NFL, but his staying power in teams hasn't been there. I guess interesting is the word because
you got to look at this as well. If you're Las Vegas, he's up in a year, and you're not going to pay him then. So maybe get a cornerback and see what you can and get what you can out of it. If that's your understanding that you're going to have Jones there for a while, and it makes sense. In their mind, they upgraded, right? They went from Yannick, who's good, to Jones, who's one of the best in the league.
So, what's the production threshold here to want to keep him here? If you're the Colts, what does he have to do to justify longer term here and to stay here for a while?
Yeah, I think it's going to be obvious on Sundays. Does the pass rush have what it's been missing? And it's not just in the stats. And Bradley's made this point several times. It's not just sacks and it's not just quarterback hits, but you can affect the quarterback in ways that impact the game. And the Colts really, really dropped off in this category last year. And part of it was because they had nobody that really won one-on-one. They really missed the Justin Houston. For all the reasons they moved on from him, he won a couple of those every single game, and then that mattered. And Autry did as well from both the inside and the outside spot. And when Autry did it against the Colts, it was very obvious what they were missing. So you pair Yannick on the end with Buckner and Grover in the middle, and then Kwity Paye had a good finish to the end last season, and he's looked good so far in camp, although they're not playing real football. There's a lot of reasons to think this will work, and I think if he gets above the 10-sack threshold, that's really, the number. Now, the Colts, they haven't had a real stud, since Robert Mathis had 19.5 in 2013. That's how long it's been. And they've been missing it. And, this franchise took it for granted for a long time, having guys like Mathis and Freeney who could just roll out of bed and have 12 sacks every single year. They've really missed that. And if Yannick fills that void, I think they'd have a lot of motivation to go sign him again.
Zak Keefer of the Athletics with us. Before I let you go, I'm certain you probably reached out. Do you happen to know what T.Y. Hilton is doing while waiting on maybe something to pop for him?
I think he's enjoying the summer. I think he's coaching his son in football and enjoying life, and I don't think he's got a big rush. I don't know if he comes back to the Colts. I don't know if he goes somewhere else. But if he does, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think it might be a July, August type situation because of, maybe a team loses a receiver in camp. Maybe it's the Colts. It could happen. I think the dialogue is ongoing, but I don't think T.Y. is in a big rush, and I don't think the Colts are either.
Do you think they would rather go and bring him back if they felt it's necessary, or just spot up with another veteran wide receiver? We know, above all else, they hope that what they have right now sticks, and they can roll with that. But would their preference be bringing him back if they don't feel what they have right now is going to be good enough and veteran enough, or would they think more about going out and trying to bring somebody else in that has been outside of the organization?
Yeah, the problem now is I think they have Michael Pittman, and then they have like 3 different number 4s. I'm not ready to say Campbell's a 2 because of obvious reasons. You're not going to say that about Straw. You're not going to say that about Patman. I think Pierce has looked good, but they're not playing real football. I think Pierce is going to be the number 2 by midseason or earlier. I do think that's going to be the case. But no, you make a valid point, and I mean, do you like what they have? I don't know how good I feel about it.
Well, you do know who you're talking to, right? So
yeah. I mean, how long do you want to go? If they get into November, December, and they got a couple injuries, and they're digging for wide receivers on the street, it's the same damn thing we've dealt with for 3 years, and so they can't get into that situation. So I think that their preference is T.Y. as opposed to somebody else, but I don't feel like they're in a big hurry to sign him. And they love T.Y. I don't know what the number is going to have to come down to. I don't know what he's going to sign for, but there is a need. I'm not changing my stance on that. I know you're not either. Maybe they all work out. Maybe they all play great in camp and nobody gets hurt, but this is the NFL and this is the Colts, and that's never happened. So we'll see how camp goes. I think they've got a list of guys they're going to be ready to call. I think T.Y. is at the top of the list if somebody goes down. But I think they talked themselves into this group. I really think Frank Reich and Chris Ballard like this receiver group more than the rest of us. And maybe they all take a step forward and maybe nobody gets hurt. But that's a dangerous way to live, and it's cost them in the past. So we'll see. But I think if somebody goes down in August, I think they do call T.Y., and I think the impetus is there to pay him a little bit more. I think T.Y. is going to wait. He's going to be picky. But I know some other teams have expressed some interest in him. So I think he's just going to sit and wait, and his value will obviously shoot up if some teams lose some guys early in camp.
Hey, Zach, in closing here, take both Pittman and Pierce, because we haven't seen him play yet, out of the equation of this question. Who would you trust outside of Michael Pittman Jr. in that wide receiving room going into this season right now?
Man, trust is a heavy word. How are you going to put me on the spot?
Yeah, you got to have that. Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I trust any of them.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, I'm not suggesting we both have the answers at wide receiver, but just as we were talking about, with Darius Leonard, everybody having the feel of, well, we've been there before, and this has got the luck feel, or even going way back to the Manning feel or whatever. This wide receiving situation has, a been there and done that type of feel as well to it.
You know who I trust? The problem with this is he plays in Philadelphia right now. It's Zach Pascal. And I know he's not a splashy wide receiver, but the dude can block, the dude catches, and I really do think his lack of production last year was a result of Carson Wentz and the fact that the passing game fell apart. I don't think it was on Pascal. That's just me. But I know what I'm going to get from Pascal every week, and he has a lower ceiling than some of these guys, but he's done it, and he's had seasons where he's caught a lot of balls. And he made some big catches for this team, and he didn't re-sign. And it's not like the Eagles paid him a ton of money. I'm going to say something that's crazy, and then I'm probably saying this more with my heart than my head, if that makes sense. It's Paris Campbell. Like, he's looked good, and Frank made – and I know what everyone's saying out there, and I hear it every time I tweet his name, and I get it. But Paris can play. Like, I really do believe he can play. If you don't agree, turn on the tape from the Jacksonville game his second season. He was the best receiver on the team that day, and he got hurt the next week, and I know how that goes. But these are not like soft tissue injuries. These are not like he's got a bad hamstring and it's never healed. It's like freak broken bones in his foot after he catches a touchdown, or he gets slammed in the knee. I mean, these are freak injuries. Now, whether that's Paris' fault or whatever, like, it's really bad luck. But I still think Paris Campbell can play. And if he stays healthy, I understand that there's a huge if related to that sentence. But if he stays healthy, I do think he could challenge Pierce for the number 2 role. I do think he could become a playmaker in this offense and do lots of things. If he doesn't do it this year, he's not going to get another chance because he's not going to get another contract because you can't depend on him. But I do think he still adds something to this offense out of the slot that they have been missing. And I do think he can play. But again, until we see it over 17 games, you're just always going to have those questions in the back of your mind saying, is he just cursed and is he going to get hurt every year?
Zak Keefer, the Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What's your latest?
Oh, I wrote about Bob Sanders.
Oh, yeah, you did. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up. You did. My bad.
No, you got to give it a read. I've been wanting to write about him for about 4 years, and he's a hard man to get a hold of. But, we got Peyton Manning on the phone. We got Tom Brady. We got Phillip Rivers to basically share their favorite Bob Sanders moments and stories. And I've watched a lot of football from this team over the years. There was nobody like Bob Sanders, and I think the fans that remember him would agree. And such a talent, such a dynamic playmaker, and it was fun to sort of encapsulate his style because he was one of a kind.
Hey, by the way, in closing, I didn't include, and I guess what I'm asking you, should I? I did not include 21 in that wide receiving room. Should he be in there too? Should we have? Because again, I have been the one that have been calling for that for a long time. What's going to be the breakdown, do you think, between him in the slot and being in that room or being, at the running back position or somewhere in the backfield lined up?
I'm glad you brought that up. We were talking about that today. I don't think Nyheim Hines is going to be in the slot as a receiver as much as people think. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's useful there, but I think that's Campbell's spot. If he's healthy, I get it, all that. But I think Nyheim's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. If you watch the Colts in practice, which I have a couple times this spring, the ball's coming out quicker and it's more accurate. And Matt Ryan sees the middle of the field a lot better than Carson Wentz does, and he knows what the offense wants. Marcus Brady, the offensive coordinator, we asked him, why did Nyheim touch the ball in the second half of the season? And he's like, well, we had plays called. So I think those plays are going to be called, and I think they're going to be executed a little bit differently this year. They're going to have a set number of carries they want to get Nyheim involved with. I know this for a fact. There is a plan to get him more involved. And how do you do that and still keep Taylor, a lot of carries? I get that. That's a real concern. Taylor's a monster. He's going to go for 1,500 yards just like rolling on a bed. But there's going to be a concerted effort to get Nyheim the ball, and it doesn't matter if it's a carry or a pass. They're going to try and do that. So I think we're going to see more out of the backfield than in the slot. But Nyheim has proven he can do both, and they're going to use him like they did with Rivers in 2020. Remember that long touchdown he caught out? He was playing receiver in Detroit, and the way he tore up the Titans. They're going to try and get that Nyheim Hines this year. So that's going to change the equation at receiver as well.
Hallelujah. Zak Keefer of The Athletic, his latest regarding former Colts safety and hard-hitting Bob Sanders. You can check that out on the Athletic website today. Zach, I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Catch up soon.
Yeah, right back at you. Zak Keefer, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Quick break. Back with you next.
He taught you how to ride a bike, to always listen to your mother, and how to behave when watching sporting events.
Holy shit, he traveled. He traveled and he traveled.
Now it's time to say, thanks, Dad. Take him to a night in the fan cave. June 22nd at the Indiana Historical Society. Eating, drinking, and talking sports with your favorite fan hosts. What better way to say thanks to dear old Dad? Tickets at 1075thefan.com.
Hey, John from PAI, we grow hair, Indy.com, real growing hair again. That opportunity is right there for you. Call 888-724-5129 or we grow hair, Indy.com today.
The NBA Finals are here, and so is your chance to score big on FanDuel Sportsbook. Hey, it's Mark from Kevin Query. Throughout the NBA Finals, FanDuel is giving new customers $200 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Bet the money line, point spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with a same-game parlay. I've loved using same-game parlays throughout the NBA playoffs. For example, choose your favorite player and his over-under in points, how many threes you'll think he makes, and the money line, and you've got yourself a same-game parlay. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot because the only thing sweeter than watching the finals is cashing in on all the action. Join today with promo code MARK to turn a $5 bet into $200 in free bets, win or lose. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C, and make every moment feel like Game 7 with FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, Johnny for Connecticut, the best water out there. And my friends at Connecticut also want to give you this subtle reminder because oftentimes with our systems, we forget to add salt, right? We just do. So you're going to get this reminder, and it's called the Kennick Salt Monitor. It sends messages directly to your smartphone and tells you exactly what your salt level is and when you need to add. Foolproof. I mean, it really is right here. The Kennick Salt Monitor. Get that half price today with my friends at Connecticut. Joe and John with the two locations, Northeast Side Castleton, Southside US 31, Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app, download that to your smartphone or device today or online, ConnecticutND.com.
Spectrum is America's leading internet provider, delivering ultra-fast gig speeds you need on the high-performance network you want. And Spectrum's advanced home Wi-Fi is security made simple, automatically blocking outside threats, along with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it faster, safer, and more reliably with Spectrum Internet. Get 200 megabits per second for only $49.99 a month. Visit Spectrum.com today for details. Based on internet subscribers among top internet service providers. Restrictions apply.
Hey, John, for LD Smith Plumbing. It's LD Smith Plumbing today. Lance and his local team with a great deal going on right now, and that's involved in your main drain. So if your main drain gets clogged, that can create a lot of issues in your home, especially backup. And that sewage backing up into your home, you don't want it. So make that number, 317-284-9526, a priority in your life and ask for 83 or free, which means the great techs of LD Smith Plumbing will come out and they'll make sure you're clog free in your main drain for $83, or the visit is free. 317-284-9526, 83 or free, and the best in plumbing, including plumbing emergencies. Always keep that number handy. The info online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Indianapolis. At Geico, our employees' careers matter to us.
We're starting a family, so benefits matter to me.
You got it, Anna. Geico offers a comprehensive benefits package and paid parental leave because family matters. Your hopes and dreams matter. Even your morning coffee routine matters.
You know what they say. Live, laugh, half-calf macchiato, extra whip.
When it comes to your career, what matters to you matters to Geico. We're now hiring claims, sales, and customer service agents. Apply today at careers.geico.com/Indianapolis, and let's get growing.
Hey, it's JMV here for John and Chris Love. That's Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. I would not trust anybody else with my cool and comfort in-house and making sure that my system is running efficiently. If you feel as if yours isn't, 353-2141. Get that checkup from John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air, making sure it doesn't cost you money and you remain cool and comfortable. Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141, online, love-hvac.com today.
Mortgage interest rates have started to drop. If you've been thinking about a cash-out refinance, visit thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Let me see a show of hands inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Actually, 2 hands. First, hit the like button there because I'm sensitive. Inside the lounge via YouTube Live, hit the like button. And then how many, a show of hands, have seen the sequel to Top Gun? Top Gun Maverick. Kyle, have you?
No, I haven't. I probably wait till it's on streaming.
Me too. I have not seen it yet, but everybody that says they have seen it says, hey, you got to go in a big, incredibly technologically advanced theater to see it.
If I didn't have a baby at home, I probably would go see it in theaters.
Because it blows you away, is what they say. Loggins in Danger Zone is back for the sequel. I was reading what you're saying right here. Nope, never seen Top Gun. Matthew in Maine says no. Don't. It's worth it to go into the theaters. So you think I could break my streak? September 21st, 1999. That's a long not been in a movie theater streak.
Did you see the original Top Gun in theaters?
I did, yeah. I saw it at the Lafayette Square, everybody. In 1986, the Lafayette Square theaters, not the Lowe's Lafayette Square, but the Lafayette Square inside the mall back in 1986. I can tell you, when I went to a movie, I can tell you exactly where I saw it.
If they did a sequel to Fast Times at Ridgemont High, would you go see that in theaters? Would you break your
No, I mean, it's
streak for that?
Yeah. No. I'm trying to think what got
me. I feel
me.
like a movie like Top Gun 2, where everyone loves it, would kind of get you to a movie from the 80s, your era.
Just everything is so aged, though. I don't know if I would. I would give you something that's not as old as the 80s stuff, but it's still back in the 90s, 1997. If they did something relative to Boogie Nights again, that might draw me in. That may draw me in. See, because when you think about it, we've been down the path with a sequel to Wall Street, and that didn't bring me in. Money Never Sleeps. See, Money says you'll never break your streak. He's probably right. And part of it, too, is theaters are few and far between nowadays, right? Movie theaters?
No.
They're back in the day, they were everywhere.
I mean,
in Bloomington,
it's pretty easy to find a theater.
In Bloomington, they were everywhere. I don't even know. Are the theaters still open in Bloomington on the west side, on the east side? Man, back in the day in Bloomington, I mean, you had the Indiana, you had the two in Von Lee, you had the Princess even before that, you had the Town Cinemas, you had 3. I saw Convoy in one of those. I saw Jaws 2 in one of those. I saw Star Wars in the Princess. I saw Cliffhanger in the Indiana. Saw the Lost Boys in the Von Lee, Boogie Nights in the Von Lee, Full Monty in the Von Lee, Creep Show, Night Shift in the Village, Empire Strikes Back, night number 1. Return of the Jedi, night number 1. College Mall Cinemas. So, yeah, I can tell you where I saw all this stuff. Now, the one out at Jackson Creek, is that still open out there? My first date with my wife was to see 12 Monkeys with Brad Pitt. It was awful. That's where that was. So, yeah. Boogie Nights, maybe something relative to Boogie Nights. If somebody created something about the 80s, like they did Dazed and Confused in the 70s, I might do that too. Like if Richard Linklater came up with something like that, I might do it. So I'm guessing 2 directors. I don't know if Mike Judge would do it for me either. But no, Richard Linklater, Paul Thomas Anderson, 2 directors that they might have a decent amount of pull to get me out of there. Or get me back in there in this case. T. Shaw says, did you grab a hot Sam's after seeing Top Gun at Lafayette Square? Yeah, that was like, honestly, that was 3 years after I purchased my Michael Jackson Thriller jacket inside Merry-Go-Round in Lafayette Square. And I still have that today. It is hanging in my garage. It is not in good shape. Something tells me that my Michael Jackson Thriller jacket was not real leather from Merry-Go-Round. Not real leather. Exactly. Samuel says, the movie's called Green County Nights. Now, something from the 80s. Something from the 80s like Dazed and Confused. Something like at the end of my final days of graduating in 1988 or somebody's final days of graduating in 84, something like that. That might pull me back. Fundamental Bear wants me to wear the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket tomorrow. There's probably no way I'm fitting in it. A. B. Yeah, it's not real leather, I don't think. I opted for, this is a true story, I opted for the Thriller jacket over the Beat It jacket. I think today I might have decided to go for the Beat It jacket instead of the Thriller jacket. So think about me. I go to the 83 or the 1984 basketball awards banquet, Winter Sports Award banquet. And Kyle, I was rocking the Thriller jacket and parachute pants. That nothing screamed more outrageous 80s than what I had on at the basketball banquet at Eastern Green High School.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Irsay owns that Thriller jacket and maybe he can loan it to you.
The real deal, too.
Yeah, probably the real one.
The real one. So true. JMV, you'll never break your streak if not going to the movie theater. You're too proud of it. You wear it like a badge of honor. I do kind of do that, yeah. Just have not been motivated enough. I used to go all the time. Like I said, Rocky IV, Von Lee. I think I saw Rocky III in Linton. JMV, to appreciate Top Gun Maverick, go see it on a big screen. I didn't see the first one. Top Gun Maverick was fabulous. It sounds pretty good. It does sound good. Sounds like if you went to, what are the theaters called where you go?
IMAX theaters.
Correct. And there's one on the south side right there near Southern Plaza. I could go do some roller skating and then go right over to the IMAX and then go to Steak and Ale. I think Steak and Ale's gone. Michael writes this, wait, not real leather? I'm sure my skids were real from merry-go-round. Not real leather. Now, I can't believe that this jacket just hasn't, melted away by now. That's what's kind of amazing to me. Still kind of hanging in. Hey, quick break, and we shall return. Final time, we'll set up tomorrow's show. We got to start talking a little bit more and identifying some of these draft selections. I'm curious about how wrong my opinion might be on a lot of these guys. Not even so much how I'm right about Murray or how I'm right about Banchero, but maybe some other names that are a little bit outside the radar of some. We shall do that. I'll tell you what I need to do. I got to get Ryan Carr on here. I want to talk about some of these guys with him. Hey, Ryan Carr, who's the director of scouting for the Pacers, if you're listening, I'm going to text you, and I want to get you on. I want to talk about some of these guys. And hopefully you can come on and do that. So guys that we really haven't been paying a lot of attention to, we'll give them some of that attention tomorrow and later on this week. All right, quick break, and we shall return where you need to be the night before the NBA draft, which is so important for the Pacers. We'll tell you where you not only need to be, but you have to be, and we want you to be. We'll do that, close out the show next.
Dan Dockich's annual Tom Dockich Memorial Golf Outing presented by Franciscan Health is on the schedule and set for July 18th. Go to 1075thefan.com/events for details and tickets.
This June at Big Red Liquors, it's ice cold beer, hot prices, and even hotter prizes. It's the big giveaway. And this month, Big Red Liquors is giving away 10 Yeti Roadie coolers. Stop by any Big Red Liquors to enter to win. It's free. Must be 21 to enter. No purchase necessary.
Hey, ladies, have you started thinking about Father's Day gifts yet? JMV here for Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic. I've got the perfect gift for him and you. Make him an appointment at Aurora. Knock out his snoring once and for all. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Peaceful, rejuvenating sleep for both of you. The Aurora Specialty Sleep Clinic. StopYourSnoreNow.com for that private consultation today. StopYourSnoreNow.com.
Tom Segura, I'm Coming Everywhere World Tour.
The first time I ever had somebody bully one of my kids, I didn't respond well. My older son walks up to a playground set, and an older kid, meaning 4, goes, "You can't play with that. That's mine." And I go, "I'll kick your chest through your back."
Third show added this Sunday night at 7, Murat Theater at Old National Center. Reserved seats on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Tom Segura live.
Hey, everybody. We've all heard stories from friends and family about something really bad that happened. You're in an accident. There's a painful, life-altering injury, huge medical bills, even wrongful death. All from someone else's fault. Some of you are dealing with it right now. That's where the attorneys at Parr Ritchie Law Firm can help. Tony Patterson, Paul Cruz, and John McLaughlin lead a team with over 70 years of collective courtroom experience and millions of dollars in jury awards and settlements for their clients. None of us can change the past. Just know that Tony, Paul, and John are on your side to help you and your family going forward. They're recognized by Super Lawyers and U.S. News and World Report as being among the leading injury lawyers in Indiana. Even if you're unsure you have a case, give Parr Ritchie a call. They'll listen and give you their free, experienced legal opinion. Call 317-269-2509 or visit parrinjury.com. That's Parr, injury.com.
When a health system treats patients with the very best in medical care and compassion, it needs a rare kind of staff. That's why Eskenazi Health never stops looking for professionals who understand that technology is most effective when paired with a genuine human touch. If you are a nurse,
a social worker,
or another professional interested in a career with us, visit eskenazihealth.edu/careers. Eskenazi Health, one of Becker's 150 great places to work in healthcare.
Andy Moore, Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37 in Fishers. Hey, give a shout out to my guy, Eric Wilson. He is the absolute best at what he does. He is there to get you in a new set of wheels, the ride of your choice. They have the inventory, the pricing. The service after the sale with Will and the gang up there is absolutely splendid. You'll love it. and the car buying experience that you're looking for. A place that you will want to go back time and time again to get a new ride. Just keep that thing in the family at the absolute best in the state of Indiana and ask for Eric Wilson, and he will get you started on this car buying experience that you will absolutely love. Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates have started to drop. We finally got a break from rising rates, but you need to lock in now. If you've been thinking about a cash-out refinance, now's the time. You could pay off your credit cards, make home remodeling projects a reality, stick some cash in the bank, and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Our average client received over $54,000 at closing with a simple cash-out refinance. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's JMV. Race Trash Services, the largest independent recycling and waste solutions provider in the Indianapolis area, and right now, they're looking for great people to join the team. Race is a family-operated business and has been providing Central Indiana with industry-leading recycling and waste disposal solutions since 1965. They focus a lot on the culture to make it a great place to work. Go to racetrash.com to see the career opportunities waiting for you. That's racetrash.com today. Race, your recycling and waste solutions partner.
Mets, Angels, Sunday Night Baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Thank you for your support.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Bowen's on here tomorrow, too. I want to mention the Night of the Fan Cave. You got Kevin and Jake, you got Dan, you got me coming up on the 22nd of June at the Indiana Historical Society. Get your tickets right now, 1075thefan.com. There it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Ryan Carr is the VP of Player Personnel. What did I say? The head of scouting? Hey, you know who you're dealing with here. The jackassery prevails. Thank you, Ryan Carr, for listening. What did I call him? The head of scouting? Yeah. He's the VP of Player Personnel. Hey, I'm the VP of jackassery. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Sorry, buddy. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, the Night of the Fan Cave. That's what we need to do. Ryan Carr needs to join us the night before the draft. All right. Hold on. Ryan Carr, VP of Player Personnel. Join us the night before the draft. A Night of the Fan Cave at the Indiana Historical Society.
Just show us the draft board. Make us all sign NDAs.
All right, here's what else I want to do, too. I want to get Ryan Carr out there and tweet at Darius Leonard and say, let's talk about your back on the 22nd. Let's talk about how good your back is going to be, how incredible your back is going to be. Let's talk about your back. Darius on the 22nd. Join us. The Indiana Historical Society, the Larceny Bourbon Lounge. We are drinking. They have food. They have everything that you would want, and we're going to have a hellaciously awesome time. Promise. 1075thefan.com. Get your tickets right now. Yeah, I saw this. So Deshaun Watson, I mentioned him a little bit earlier, has been accused of sexual misconduct, as you well know, during massage appointments. Use resources provided by the Texans, including non-disclosure agreements, to make appointments with more women than previously known. That is according to this afternoon, the New York Times. You know, if his lawyer going on radio and talking about money shots is not bad enough. Oh, happy endings. I'm sorry. That was different. That's something different. We're waiting on that. Happy endings is what we're talking about. We're waiting on the other. If that wasn't bad enough, good Lord. How in the world is this guy going to play? He's not going to play it down this year, is he?
Is there a reason they haven't gotten rid of Baker Mayfield yet?
Baker Mayfield, I'm not playing. Heck with you guys. Man. Rusty Hardin, his attorney, was it over the weekend or was it on Friday when he talked about happy endings?
I think it was on Friday or Thursday, maybe.
Why can't I have an interview like that? What?
Why in the world are you doing an interview?
What are you doing?
You're a lawyer.
So for Deshaun Watson, if you thought it was over and no longer getting worse, then you would be absolutely wrong about that. Carlos, by the way, says, I just saw Top Gun Maverick at the Castleton, the AMC Dolby. Actually, a better sound experience than IMAX. Definitely worth breaking the streak. It's made for guys of our era. Excellent. Thank you, Carlos. You guys have been fantastic today. Night in the Fan Cave, I want everybody to go. And Ryan Carr, you think the Pacers would be cool with you going the night before the draft? You are the VP of player personnel. You need to join us. Don't worry. I'll get you a little loose. We'll get you a couple of Larceny bourbons. We'll cut loose. And then tweet, since Darius didn't come on today, then he can come out with us to the Indiana Historical Society. We'll talk about his back. You guys got to be there, too. It'll be a blast. Greg Rakestraw, Jake Query, Zak Keefer. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Shout out to Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. You guys have been great. Facebook Live. Everywhere else you have listened, I appreciate you. Kyle, great job. 93.5, 1075 The Fan. Back with you tomorrow at 3.